I remember going to 10X and meeting all these people that are doing like 30, 40K a month and like even 70K a month. And at the time, it seemed so far away and so impossible. But then once you have the right team, you have the right product, it's just a game of putting in the work and waiting patiently. I think too many people are just rushing. They're trying to get to 100K a month, $200 million a month so fast. And they like miss all the journey itself. This is what none of us would enjoy this if the journey wasn't part of it. And it's like what makes us grind.
Welcome back to the 4Media Uncut podcast. We get a very special guest as always for you guys. He's actually flying in from Colombia just to make this episode, Mr. Omer Bloch. We've actually known Omer since back in the college days when we did network marketing together, and he's gone to do some pretty amazing things since.
Yeah, he went from doing network marketing to, doing sales for cars, and then he actually left everything, dropped everything, moved out to Colorado to work with our friend Joel Kaplan with $20 to his name, and he took that and ran with it and now is doing amazing. And now he's actually started his own agency called FAVA that helps entrepreneurs and businesses to hire amazing, freaking awesome virtual assistants. That's actually what FAVA stands for. But this episode was amazing, super packed full of value. I know you guys are going to enjoy it, so please enjoy the podcast with Mr. Omer Bloch.
Yo, welcome, bro. Thank
love
you for
it.
coming.
Of course.
If you haven't tuned into these before, just so you know, we like to learn a little bit about you to start, and then we shoot the shit on a topic that you're pretty good at talking about.
I love it.
Probably growing an agency or sales.
Well, we know he listened to the podcast because he sent us some verve.
He did. You're right.
What was it? Episode 1 where we were talking about Vima and yeah.
Because I just haven't had verb in so long and I need an excuse. And if I just send it to Eddie and Julian, it's like kind of like, here are your two friends. But then and then Muhammad. I'm like, okay, you guys have like
Matt Bauman too.
Matt Bauman. It's like the whole squad. Gabe Fredo, like the whole squad.
Zach was here. He was in Vima.
Zach was in it too.
It just made sense.
It just does.
Let's just say it was an office surprise overall.
It was.
BK Barreco would be proud of us.
I tagged him in my post today. I'm hoping for a repost. So
probably not gonna go.
no, probably not.
Shout out to the Vima fam listening. We love you.
Yeah, we literally love you.
Omer, no one knows jack shit about who you are on this podcast. So
tell
us about what you do now.
Yeah.
Tell us about like a very important recent accomplishment, I guess you've had, a couple things you've had. Like, give us a little tail end of it.
Sure.
And then let's start from the beginning, kind of like college, high school, wherever you think.
Yeah. So right now I am recruiting people from all over the world, and I'm placing them into digital marketing jobs. I love the remote work. I love being able to travel and, be in control of your time. As of today, we've hired 157 people worldwide, mostly in South and Central America.
It just started, by the way.
Yeah, so it's been pretty crazy because, I see all these people like Eddie and Joel and Ravi that have amazing systems and programs and everything you need in order to build a business, especially an agency. But I realized the one thing that was missing is people. Like there was a source of people that was always inconsistent. People go to Upwork and Fiverr and Facebook groups, and there's no training, and people come and go. And I thought to myself, if I can become that stable point for a company to come to and find the right people, right, for you guys, like graphic designers and, data entry people, someone else that's an appointment setter. It could be a salesperson. It could be an account manager. I want to be that staple point. I don't want to be a coaching program, but I would love to be the middleman to supply people. So this is pretty recent. The company is called FAVA, F-A-V-A, stands for Freakin Awesome Virtual Assistants. And it's funny because the term virtual assistant for me is, it's changing because it's a lot of people like, I don't want to say demoralize the term virtual assistant, but my goal is to increase the value of these people. Like I really want to place people and be a staple point to your company so they can actually get paid what they deserve. I don't want the $2, $3, $4 VAs. I think that's like, that's not what I envisioned this as. So yeah, here we are,
Those are just our VAs, regular VAs. You're the freaking awesome VA, so
basically
it makes sense. You're not focused on just the average. And
they're not virtual assistants, right?
They're people. You know what I mean?
People.
Like that's the weird thing.
Well, even our VAs, they're not
VAs.
Not at all.
They're team members. They're literally highly trained. I mean, dude, a lot of them are really freaking awesome. Like, they're really skilled in their craft.
A lot of them are better than our people here at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then you and I talked about this, Eddie, like some of these people that are working in Central South America, even the Philippines, they have an insane work ethic. They will literally outwork an American employee for a quarter, if not less than a quarter of the price. And I think
I'll pay them half, bro. if you're actually
exactly. And
You know
to
what I
them, half is like they're set. Like my VA, first month I'm already like bumping him up to $700 a month, and he's like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "Dude, if we keep growing and you're doing the job you're doing, bro, you're gonna be well off." Like,
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the reasons I live in South America. I realized, well, it's really cheap to live here. So, yeah,
That's awesome.
So
That's
before
really,
that,
really cool.
though, you also accomplished something pretty sick, and then we'll jump back to how that happened. So you helped scale a couple businesses. What were they?
yeah.
What was like peak season, and then
Yeah.
don't give me any more juice. Cut me off there. Let the fucking
Yeah.
crowd hang while over the cliff for a
Yeah.
second, and then let's rewind and see where it all started.
So the first agency was Atlas Digital. I took them from $30,000 a month to $250,000 a month as being the only salesperson there. The second one was Joel's 7-figure agency Lab. Came in, I was part of a sales team that scaled to $850,000 a month cash collected, right around that number, which is pretty awesome because I had no sales experience previously. And here we are, two companies, one hit 2.5 million a year, the other one hit 5 million. So I was like, all right, I know some things. Now I just got to, start my own thing, which is where we're at today.
Sick. So now that you guys know who the fuck this random ass guy with a fucking hat is on our podcast and a Playboy shirt. You know
I love
what
it.
mean? Fuck, like they're like, who the fuck is this guy?
I love it.
Now that you know, let's go back and jump into where it all started. Where did your like entrepreneurial spirit start? Where did that kind of side of life start? And
Yeah.
what jobs were you working at the time? Things like that. Like,
Yeah, it's funny that I'm talking to you two about this because through high school, I knew something is different. I knew school is not the move. I knew the education system is broken. I knew what they're teaching is just like,
and you're
bro,
Jewish, right?
I'm a Jew. Like my parents, like I'm born in Israel. Parents are Russian. Like school, it's either
We're
as a
supposed
Jew-
to hate each other, by the way.
We are, which is funny. But as a Jewish person, and I think as a lot of cultures, you're a doctor, a lawyer, or you're failure. I didn't have option C. Doctor, lawyer was the top two. Everything else, good luck in life. So my parents from day one always forced education on me. It was always forced. It was never, hey, how do we work this together? How do we do this? It's always forced from day one. So when I moved here from Israel when I was 11, I just felt something different. I'm like, dude, something's off here. Thankfully, my friend handed me an energy drink senior year. At that time, terrible student, never read books, knew nothing about personal development, didn't really own a business. I know a lot of things that Eddie discussed in the past. You've had business experience. I didn't really have anything like that. No one in my family comes from business. And that energy drink.
Senior year, high school?
Senior year.
I feel like Omir's about to throw down. Do you feel
First,
that? Like,
yeah.
he's about
First
to close
period.
us.
First period, bro. Handed me an energy drink.
Changed my life.
I thought it was delicious. I was like, where do I get more? He's like, come over. I'll get you some more. I'm like, whoa, where do I buy these? He's like, come to my friend's house. We're throwing like a little party, and then you tell me what you think. I pull up. I see a white BMW, white Mercedes. I'm like, I see a little Vima on the side. I'm like, what is going on? I was so confused. There was no details. It was super sketchy. That event, like, it's weird because that day, I feel like that was like one of the butterfly effects where everything changed because I didn't know anything about that world, anything about network marketing, nothing about anything. Thankfully, I took a leap. I was like, whoa, this is different. Like there's something about here that's different. And it's crazy, Eddie, because we built our businesses so differently. You actually built a business with network marketing. We just built one leg. For those of you who don't know, it's like essentially a pyramid scheme in a sense, right? You got to build both legs. We built one leg that had 200 plus customers and the other leg was empty. Eddie, and I don't know about you, Andrew, but you guys might have built it the correct way. I stuck with it. I actually stuck with it for 2 years.
We
and
were
I
the
learned a
other
lot.
leg
You were
to your
for
upline.
yes, but you also built 2 legs. Like you actually like leveled up.
Yeah, for sure.
Took me a year to hit bronze.
I get what you're saying.
See, so like in bronze, for you guys who don't know, makes $200 a month. So I tell people,
Which for
Maybe.
those of you that
Yeah.
don't know, they actually only make like $100.
yeah,
Because you have to be buying 2 cases of
Correct.
Verb, which is $120 or
Yes.
whatever. with
And for what
shipping.
everyone else doesn't know is I had a few friends unnamed drop out after hitting silver, which is, by the way, $100 a month.
100,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
150 to be nice.
It's $20
Yeah.
a cycle. It's 5
Yeah.
cycles. I mean, let's
Oh,
see.
yeah, it's
What was
$100.
bronze?
I think
Oh, bronze
was
was
80.
$5. Bronze
Yeah,
was
bronze was
$5.
$5 and
it was
then
$100
10,
a
and then
month.
10.
And then
Yeah.
silver was $200 a
Yeah.
month. So I had friends drop out at $200
At
a
17, 18.
You're saying dropping out of school?
Yeah.
Out of college, like-
not dropping out of VEMA. They were
No.
dropping out of school.
college,
Literally.
like
Yeah.
still paying dorm
People that will not be
payments.
named.
Bro, people who were still paying dorm and apartment payments on campus,
Yes.
but dropped out of classes because they made $200. Like, let's reflect on that. Of a whole month of work.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The funniest part is I
Yikes.
tell people I made $600. Spent 3,000, but made 600. So there was some money being made at some point. But throughout
Your
the whole
net
time,
was insane.
insane, literally. But
Your profit margins were quite low.
no, not there at all. But the whole time I was doing it, I didn't really have support from my family. Like they just kept on pushing me to school. Ended up going to Georgia State right after high school, 2014. I was ready to drop out from the second I just stepped in, and then I just kind of let it drag out. Thankfully, the best part about Vima, which is how we all really know each other in a sense, is the people you meet. At the end of the day, yeah, the product was silly, the business plan's silly, how much
And
you
the
get paid.
personal development.
And the personal
It's very
development, for
important.
sure.
It like opens. It was the
Everything.
first thing that opened my eyes to be
Yes.
like,
Yes.
instead of doing this shit, I could like learn from smarter people. And
Exactly.
it like kind of started that part of my life.
Yep.
I think the product was awesome, but the price point was kind of silly. Like it was
Super.
hard to get people to
Well,
justify
the price point faced in
to the profits.
commission.
Exactly.
That plus, why are you guys not inside of gas stations?
Holy fuck! Everyone asks the same fucking question, and it pisses me off because they're so. I've been asking it for years since college. I'm like, bro, sell me 2 for $4. Don't even give me a 2 for $3.
Yes.
Like 2 for $4.50, 2 for $5.
Yes,
I'll
I'm in.
probably buy it, bro. Very
Every day.
consistently.
You have all these other shitty drinks
Like,
that
dude, I
literally
buy
taste
this
bad.
every day, and it costs us like $2.18. Like I
It's-
would buy it for the same
it-
price all day.
I thought
Right.
that was the one thing that sold me even more. It's like they're sponsored by the Suns, the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
The Phoenix Suns
Oh,
fucked us, bro.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ,
God,
that
we
was-
went so hard on that.
Oh,
It wa-
so hard.
Looking back now, it
The
was like
Verve Arena.
Yeah.
it was like a
and shit.
little like
Yep.
it was like on the
Yep.
electronic board on the side. It just like went by.
And the funny part, they were terrible. Like they were not good
They were
at
the
all.
worst team by far.
And so it was like, yeah, the worst. It's like the Lions representing us. I was just like, you better not. It doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
But there was a Super Saturday. I don't know if you're familiar. I know you're definitely
From
familiar.
Jed Buena Luz.
Joanne
and all
Buena Luz
that,
would
yeah.
throw
Yep.
Super Saturdays once a quarter,
Yep.
and I met Marcos Rosinger there. I remember like shaking his head, touch shoulders, no crazy conversation. And we had a Facebook group called Powerhouse Network, whatever. And I remember he posted in there, he's like, "Hey guys, I have an extra room in my house. If anybody wants to move in, let me know." And I remember this is like 2015, so this is a year into school. And I remember seeing that. I'm like, oh, this is it. This is my opportunity. I want to live with someone in Vima. I don't remember if you remember DJ Snyder.
Yep.
So he lived with him, and it was Marcos. And I was like, all right, I'm moving there.
Is
And
Georgia Southern?
this is not Georgia Southern. This
But
is
DJ
Buford.
went to Georgia
He
Southern.
did. He
though.
dropped out, and then he ended up like probably
This
a
is
year later.
Dropout, yeah.
Way post dropout, and he was an author at that point too. So I'm like, dude, I'm living with an author. I'm living with a ginger. Like, there's a lot of good things that are about to happen.
With a ginger and an author. That's amazing.
Literally. And then literally as soon as we got there, Vima got sued. Like probably within 3 months, and then we all moved from Vima to Jeunesse, and by we just me. And then I go to you start
And
bouncing around.
You went to Modere, right?
You did. I remember that. I was actually gonna bring this up.
I went to Secret.
When Eddie moved to Modere, it was like such a big deal. We were all like, we had to take like 3 days off of home events because we were like, bro, what? Eddie, Gabe, the whole team. Like, there's,
Yeah,
dude, I don't know.
crazy. Us moving, we didn't feel like we were like.
And
we didn't feel like that. We
Yeah.
weren't like. We didn't move and we're like. Yeah,
People are gonna
like,
follow.
Everyone's gonna feel this.
Yeah.
We're like, okay,
Oh, no, they
no one's
felt
gonna
it.
feel this. We're just gonna leave. Like, I don't even know this part. You know? What
Yeah,
I mean?
no, you felt
We're
it was felt like
oblivious.
Miles had to bring in like the people that were good, like, yo, like it's not a big deal, bro.
No.
Like, me and Eddie are cool still, like things like that.
No, I remember even like hearing some shit through the grapevine of like people being like, because wasn't it when I no, this was something else, but I do remember hearing through the grapevine of people being like, dude, yeah, man, like Eddie left and like took like a ton of people and like, fuck,
I mean, I
dude.
didn't take anyone.
I know you
Just your
literally
team,
just
just your
left.
team.
They followed me.
Yeah.
No, not
Right.
even my team, bro. I had people. That's the problem. That was the real problem. Is like people from like GJ's team and shit just
I
decided to
see.
follow me
Because they're like, oh,
like Matt
I'm already,
Bauman.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Matt Bauman literally was DJ George Chang, Matt Bauman.
Yes, yes.
And then he was like, hey, he's like, dude, fuck it. If you're going somewhere, then I believe you, and I think it's probably a great decision that you're making.
yeah.
That's so funny.
It's
we were
funny.
literally 18-year-olds trying to run a business.
And
That's what it
here's the
was.
worst part. Everyone was on a cruise. Like
Yeah, that's what it was. Everyone was on a cruise, and Jed Buenaluz comes back, and he's like, "What the heck, man? One of my best guys leaves, and a bunch of other people followed him, and like, what the heck?"
Bro, he blocked me on Instagram. I'm
Still?
still blocked.
Yeah,
I like.
Wow.
No, because I remember I heard that through the grapevine. For some reason, I thought the cruise thing was something else, but
why
it
don't you
was.
just talk to me? Like, you didn't even care about me before. Like, you
Yeah.
never talked to me personally. Like, why?
Ever. You probably
Would
didn't
you
really
block
know.
me? I didn't even talk
That's so
shit.
weird.
I didn't even
That's
talk
so
shit
weird.
about anyone. I was like, yo, let's go.
You just moved. No, I remember you guys literally moved. It was out of nowhere, and it was just
Bro,
like
the
it
owner
shook.
of the company, a fucking guy who runs like $1 billion a year business, flew down from Utah just to meet with us. Like,
That's
the
wild.
level of respect. You know what I mean?
You
Just
have
like
to.
if you're actually serious about your business and serious about your team, and the BK Barreco of their company and his
Yes.
boys come down
Yes.
and are like, get the crowd, we're throwing an event, we're meeting you, we're taking care of you guys. And then humbly even like validated my decision even more. His name is Justin Prince. Like, should follow him, really big entrepreneur in general. Anyways, like I remember my team in Boston was very poor. They're from the ghetto, like Eric's boys from there. And
remember
like,
that,
shout
yeah.
out to you guys if you're listening.
Let's go.
Like, they couldn't even afford to come down here, and he paid to rent them the gas and the van, the 14-passenger van, so that they could drive from Boston for like this huge Atlanta event in the Westin downtown.
Damn, that's
And, like,
cool.
He didn't say a word. I didn't even know. And like all I saw was like Eric and a few other people. They showed up to the event. He greeted them. He hugged them, and they just like bawled in front of him. I was like, what the fuck's going on? And they're like, dude, he paid for our food on the way down. He paid for everything to get us here, just so we could be here. Like,
That's wild.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
when the
that's
fuck
wild.
is BK gonna do that?
Never.
So like,
I met BK one time. in
yeah, and like
2
from a
years.
marketing perspective, their product was way superior to Vima's from a marketing perspective. So I was like,
Because there's so much.
this makes sense.
Yeah, it's not just
yeah.
energy drinks. It's like it's not just
Bro,
drink.
not
You gotta
even
have-
that. They created the try before you buy model, like the Warby Parker, like what actually kills it. Like, dude, all I had to do was send someone a free box, and it had 4 samples in it of each product. It was skincare based products, 4 of each, and then the 4 full bottles. And they had a choice. I can keep whatever bottles I like from the samples. I can keep the full bottles, and they'll only charge me for those, and I send it back for free, or I send them all back, and I pay like $5 on shipping. You know what I mean?
That's genius.
You know what I mean?
That's
Or
really
I don't
smart,
pay
yeah.
any. I'm like, fuck me. This is
That's-
actually a sick.
yeah,
I would
yeah.
talk to anyone about this because it makes sense.
No,
I'm not
yeah.
like buy 3 months of energy drinks every month.
yeah, no.
You know, I'm like,
Yeah,
hey,
for
buy a
sure.
product. If you like it, you keep it. If not, you send it back. No big deal.
Yeah.
It's such a great offer. Like looking at
So
it now.
offer
Yeah.
CEO. I'm
Yeah,
like,
everything.
dude. At the end
That
of
makes
the day,
sense. We've never
Opportunity.
talked about this, so now I
right?
know.
So like, so for my team, even not just
Yeah.
for me, I'm fucking putting my neck out there for my
Yeah, yeah,
team.
yeah.
Like, I'm doing what's best for them too. And long term, selling energy drinks wasn't the best, and I was right 3 months later. Right.
for sure.
I was right on that decision, but like I saw this as an actual thing that we could market, and I
Sure.
saw a CEO that cared about Atlanta, Georgia. And
love
I was like,
that.
we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
fucking do it. Let's do
For
it.
sure, for sure.
You know?
That's
I
dope.
love that. So going back 2015, I move in with Marcos again, meeting him for Powerhouse. He's on a whole nother team. It has nothing to do with me. The only one that I'm in a sense affecting their business, they affect mine, is DJ. And a couple months later, that whole lawsuit happens, and shit hits the fan. I still work at Topgolf at the time. I was at Topgolf for about 2 years, which was actually one of the best jobs. I actually want to get my sister there because I really believe I spoke with at least 150,000 people in my two years of working there, because we were the only Topgolf in the entire South. So people would drive from Virginia, Florida, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, like you name it. And we had like literally nights. I don't know if you guys remember, but there were like 4, 5, 6 hour waits. And I'm talking to people. I meet celebrities. We mentioned AJ Green, like I met him, and Calvin Johnson, and all these like people I never thought about meeting, and having to service them and talk to them and all that good stuff. But Marcos at that time, when I was working at Topgolf, started working at a car dealership. So he's working for Toyota. And I never envisioned myself as a car sales guy. I don't like cars. I know you're a big car guy. I'm cool with cars, but never thought about selling them. And he comes home, and this is a true story. He literally shows me that he got paid $10,000. And I'm like, bro, you're 20, 21 years old. You got paid $10K. I'm quitting my job. I'm coming to work for you. Like the whole Wolf of Wall Street shebang. End up getting the job at car sales. And
Where?
A Toyota. It's at Georgia Mall. So
I know which one, Buford.
Yeah, Buford, that one. So super premier, one of the top in the country. I hated it.
Toyota Mall.
Basically.
You remember those?
But I will say this. It was my first job.
Georgia.
Literally. My first job that I worked 60 to 80 hours a week. I've never worked that much in my life.
How much did you make?
So first month, probably like 3, 4K. Second month, 5K.
That's a lot of money, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At 20, 21 years
That's
old, for
a lot.
sure.
At 25, it's still,
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Solid.
And then long story short, I end up getting fired because it's a very long story, but end up getting fired. First job I've ever gotten fired. And then for 3 months, I actually don't know what to do in my life. We actually got Ty Lopez's course. This is 2016. We bought Ty Lopez's course. I started watching it and I'm like, dude, this is super cool, but I don't have enough savings. Marcos is like, dude, we're going to move to Colorado. We're going to build an agency together. Come with me, begs me for 3 months. My dumbass, instead of taking the leap and figuring it out and opening credit cards and just going in debt just to figure it out, I go back to school, go the safe route, and he moves to Colorado. This is like 2017. Now he moves to Colorado, and he ends up meeting Joel Kaplan. Like they go to a BNI event and they meet Joel Kaplan, and obviously they start Atlas Digital together, which was the first agency. And I'm talking to Marcos pretty much every week or, on a monthly basis, and they're starting to grow. They got 1 client, then they got 2 clients. They start focusing on chiropractors. They're only working with chiropractors, which is one of the things that we teach is focus on one niche. And then they hit the 20K mark around March 20, this is 2017, 2018. They hit the 20K mark, and I come visit Marcos in Colorado. And first time in Colorado, first time in the West Coast. I'm like, holy this is amazing. It's beautiful. Got mountains, everything. And he keeps planting the seed. You're going to come work for us. You're going to come work for us. And I'm like, dude, I'm in school. I'm driving Uber at the time, which is on a side note. While I was driving Uber, I was 22 years old. I knew, again, I'm meant for more of this. So I actually kept a journal that I'm actually going to release. And I asked every passenger in the back to give me advice as a 22-year-old. So I have over 150 people giving me advice, and it's all written, all different, handwriting. Some of them I'm like, what this person write? But some of these people gave me real amazing advice. Someone even said invest in Bitcoin. This is 2018, and definitely did not invest in Bitcoin. I wish I did, but that's eventually going. I'd love to release that.
Bro. That's so funny.
I'd love to release that one day, but So 2018, I'm driving for Uber. I'm working out. I'm in amazing shape. I come visit Marcos. I meet Joel. And you guys met Joel. He was here on the podcast. That same guy is the same guy when he was doing 10 to 20K a month. Intense, super bright, super hardworking, super caring, everything. But at that time when I met Joel, I've never in my life met anyone like him. I'm like, dude, you're 26, 27. You're super hardworking. Where did this come from? I thought this kid is broke. Literally, I was like, you have a broke mindset, and definitely does not have that type of, he comes from family that takes care of, his family and all that good stuff. So, met him, thought it was great. 6 months passes by. August 2018, they gave me a call out of nowhere. They're like, Omer, we need a salesperson. We want you to move to Colorado, pack your stuff, go there. I'm like, you guys are fucking nuts. I'm in school, just sign up for another semester. Life is good. I'm working out. They're like, okay, bet. Terrible decision. And then I call Marcos a couple days later. I'm like, dude, thank you again for the offer, but I really can't do it. 2 days later pass. This is about a week at this point. Joel calls me and he literally closes me right there. And then he's like, dude, if you don't do this, it's going to be the biggest mistake you'll ever make. Just take the leap of faith. Worst case scenario, you drive back and you go back to school. And I sit there, call my best friend, Ethan. I call my sister. They're like, do it. I talked to 3 different Uber passengers. They're like, bro, you're 22, 23 years old. Swear to God. True story.
Uber passenger.
That was your therapist.
You know why? It's because you talk to 3 different. At that point, I drove to Lawrenceville, Atlanta, and somewhere in Alpharetta.
Three blind perspective.
Blind. And every person I talked to, the 5 people I talked to that day, all told me to do it. Wow. Why would I not do it at that point? So I come home Friday night, tell my parents, hey, listen, love you guys. I have $200 to my name. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what their companies works with chiropractors. I don't know what that means. I'm driving. So Friday I told my parents. Sunday I drive up with $200 to my name. One of the most intense drives. By that I mean I hate driving through Kansas. It's the worst place I've ever drove through. It's just nothing. I don't know why Kansas is like Kansas, but I get
then
there.
Again, why is Dubai, bro?
For sure, but Kansas is not Dubai at all.
It's a desert with buildings. I mean, Dubai isn't anything. It's a square mile of.
But there's a lot of wealth there.
I know, but it's developed. It's
for sure. Kansas needs to be more developed is what I'm saying.
100%.
4 hours of just whoa, this is nothing. And you get pulled over because you drive on the left lane. It's weird rules. Anyways, get to Colorado.
I got pulled over because I drove in the wrong direction. I don't understand Kansas.
Dude, yeah, what the
left lane. Yeah. Out of all lanes, he picked the actual lane you're not supposed to drive
on. Whatever. So I get to Colorado, and at that point, I've now been in sales for a couple of years. I've driven Uber, and Joel and Marcos really thought at that time that they needed a salesperson to scale their agency. That was their mindset. Meanwhile, these were not getting appointments. They were only doing cold email. No, they didn't have a cold caller. They had a sales guy that bailed on them. They had no appointments. I came in, started cold calling every single day. And we talked about this a little earlier. Like from the very first day, the expectation was I'm an appointment setter and I close when there's a person in front of me that's ready, that's ready for a demo. Outside of that, I'm an appointment setter. So every single day, all day, we were in Joel's house, myself, him, and Marcos, and then the account manager we hired, and we were just working together. And they were doing between $30,000 to $40,000 a month. They had a few clients outside of chiropractic, but I saw the vision. I really saw what they were trying to take it to.
And they were doing what? Mainly Facebook media buying?
Facebook ads for chiropractors. And I remember the time they did not have a demo. So the first time I saw Marcos pitch a person, this is a true story. He goes on Zoom, shares his screen, and he goes to a kickoff form, a Google form. And the chiropractor's typing it in. He's just typing his information. He's like, yeah, Dr. John, Andrew, blah, blah, blah. And he scrolls to the bottom, and it's just the offer, $2,000 a month for Facebook ads. And I remember sitting there, like, going through the form, like, he filled out his information, his address, zip code, what kind of chiropractor he is, and then the offer. And I just remember sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck are we selling them? So there was no demo. There was no sales process at all. And with that shitty sales process, they still closed over 30 chiropractors in less than a year, which is not a lot for a year, but 30
For
chiropractors.
a year of figuring it out.
It's
good.
incredible.
Yeah,
all
figuring
from
it
cold email and just organic marketing. And then I think you know this, Eddie, but the first like August, September, October, I'm struggling. Like I'm only doing cold calls. I'm not selling people. It's difficult. I don't really know what we're selling. I don't know anything about chiropractic, but I'm grinding. I'm showing up. I'm putting in the work. That's what I am doing is I am showing up and I am putting the work. What's not happening is the results. That's what matters at the end of the day. You put in the work, results don't come in. It's like, you got to go. So come January, we hired a media buyer, Mark Coulter, shout out Mark, and he had experience running Facebook ads, and he became the full-time media buyer for Atlas in a sense. And they started packing up my calendar with appointments. Finally, I have appointments on my calendar. I've sold a few people at this point. And I remember this conversation like it was yesterday. Joel and Marco sat me down. They're like, dude, we love you. We love everything you've done. It's amazing. Just the results have not been here. It's month 5, barely closed any chiropractors. We're putting a quote on your head. You got to sell at least $6,000 this month. This is like early January 2019. I end up selling $6,000 that week, $25,000 that month, and then we scaled from $40,000 a month to $250,000 a month within 6 months. It was January till June.
Nice.
The only salesperson. It was like a team of 7. Margins were through the roof, and at that point, that's where the coaching kind of came into place. Because if you know how to do it, you can probably coach it. So. Everything happened so fast. I remember going to 10X and meeting all these people that are doing like 30, 40K a month and like even 70K a month. And at the time it seemed so far away and so like impossible. But then once you have the right team, you have the right product, it's just a game of putting in the work and waiting patiently. I think too many people are just rushing. They're trying to get to 100K a month, $200 million a month so fast. And they like miss all the journey itself. This is what none of us would enjoy this if the journey wasn't part of it. And it's like what makes us grind. So that's the first part. So I don't know if I should keep going, but
no, that's great.
250K a month was incredible. I went from literally a broke college kid that less than 2 years ago, I had $200 to my name to making 200K in commissions my first year in selling, which was like, whoa.
That's insane.
Like,
that's amazing, man.
I was like, what? It's possible, which is why now today I actually push people to go through a journey similar to mine. What I mean by that, instead of becoming a business owner, starting your own agency, starting a company, doing what Eddie has created here, why don't you go buy experience and go learn from someone, and maybe you can move up with them. Maybe you can actually grow the company. And if worst case you don't, you at least get the experience. So now you know what it takes to build a company. It took me 3 years of selling and training and coaching and putting this together to actually go do my own thing. And I think if you're listening to this and you're new and you want to start a company and you don't know anything about anything, instead of figuring it out and hoping things work out, I think the best experience is to go learn from a mentor that's already done it and actually work under them and take the experience and maybe not make as much money, but the money, in my opinion, is the knowledge, because that is like powerful. Like
100%.
Now I know how to scale a business. I know what it took. Like a second month of business, we're doing 35K a month, which is not insane, but whoa.
That's insane, bro.
Like,
pretty insane.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, why are people trying to start their own thing instead of actually getting a job? And in my opinion, I don't know about you guys, I think it's an ego. I think you want to be your CEO. You want to be titled CEO, and you want to lead the way instead of actually putting your ego down, go find a job. And
I also think not even just the ego, they're just thinking like, well, if I want to make the most money, I got to be at the top. But it's like, honestly, there's a lot of A and B players that are right under that that'll end up
100%.
making way more than you trying to start your own thing.
That's what I was gonna say.
less.
The headaches that Eddie has to probably
Way
deal
less.
with on a regular basis. Like even me coming today, it's like, whoa, most people don't know how to deal with that. And where do you learn how to deal with something like this? Like the headache, the consistent headaches, whether it's the wrong team members, whether
It's
things are not,
experience, really.
there's no other way.
Because I mean that's ultimately like you're gonna get paid for the amount of like problems you can solve for people and how much value you can bring, right? So if you're like highly replaceable and you're kind of just like we were talking about like data crunchers or like just data input, that's like a very menial task, and like eventually stuff like that is gonna get replaced with like AI and stuff anyways.
100%.
But if you can actually create not only just a system and things like that, but if you can actually like solve real problems in a business and like be irreplaceable, you're gonna it's game over. Because I mean, at the end of the day, then it's like you said, you're either going into a business and you're learning so much that it makes sense to stay, and those skills you're never gonna lose.
100%. I think not enough people are betting on themselves, and this is where college comes in. You go to college, it's a safe route. You graduate and you hope and pray the job comes in, and then you work for 30, 40 years. You hope to move up the ladder. And how I see it is like, dude, these guys don't have, in my opinion, the most fulfilling life. Like life is about creating journey. It's about the experiences, the people you meet, the impact you can make. And college is just not going to teach you that. Like it's just genuinely not. And I think what we're all doing, what you're doing with, teaching all these e-com agencies, and what Joel has done, and people like Ravi and Nick Robbins. And I like shining people out because all of them, the people that are actually good at what they do, even though they're competition, I love them. I love it.
And for the most part, they all love each other.
I know, low key, high key, because they wouldn't be here without each other, genuinely. So I think there are other people that don't know what they're doing, and yes, that is the majority of the industry. Let's not get that wrong. But there are some really solid individuals that have created programs that if you follow through it, you will get results, no doubt about it. But you and I both know this. It's really difficult. I always tell people when I sold them, no matter who you pay, no matter who you pay, how much work you do everything right, and you still don't make it. Life is not fair, no matter what you do. So I think there's a luck factor to it as well. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some people that just aren't cut out to do certain things for sure. Luck, you can call it luck, you can call it faith, innate ability, you can call it faith, you can call it whatever. But I mean, there's definitely some people that just aren't going to make it doing whatever. But I mean, I think you got to play to your strengths and
here's
know
the
your zone of genius.
The bet on yourself thing, it doesn't mean start a company by yourself.
No.
And a bet on yourself doesn't mean that, to clarify. I think a lot of people in our world, especially, there's this huge misconception of don't get a job, go try to do your own thing. I get that because I'm there, right? But I also really, really think it's being misconstrued completely. And so for example, betting on yourself to me is what AJ and Andrew are doing as well, right? Mm-hmm. They're joining a younger company that doesn't have systems and processes fully lined up.
Correct.
And doesn't have the exact ascension plan of you'll get a raise every 2 years for the rest of your life. Do you get what I'm saying? They're
100%.
betting on themselves being an asset to this machine we're building, and having their own part of it that they can run, have their own fluidity over time, and be able to grow to the point that they want to get to through it, while providing value and being in that collaborative environment.
And you also can't think of it from a scarcity mentality, because I've noticed if I came in here and I was like, okay, you're going to be the head of this content team, and I'm viewing it from a video editor standpoint, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to be the best person on this team. I'm going to be the best video editor. Everyone else underneath me, I better not hire anyone who's better than me, because they could take my job and they could then be the top person. And I actually have the opposite, where I hope that I can bring on people onto my team that are actually even more talented than me at video editing and graphics.
And we've had that conversation transparently too, behind closed doors. I'm like,
you have to.
Are you okay not getting a raise for X amount of time so that we can try to afford people who are talented and have different skills that you don't have? And
you have to.
And every single person in this company have had that conversation behind closed doors. They've all said yes. And they haven't flinched or hesitated or let me think about it. 100%, not even close. Push my payout for however long we need to, get me the best people on my team so that we can have the best team.
You have to think long term, and people our age are, you're on Instagram, you see all these famous people and the cars and the wealth, and then you feel like you have to be there by 27, by 26. That this is the vision of Vima. That's, I think, one of the flaws with Vima was rushing our journey. You have to retire parents by 22. At 21, if you don't retire your parents, you're a loser.
Yeah, so many kids were like so gung ho about that. I'm glad that I never like fell into the whole like
retire your parents.
Retire my parents at 22. Retire my parents at 22, bro, or die. Or die.
The high level leadership, like Jed and them, they put that kind of pressure on me too. When they came, they were like, "What's your why?" I'm like, honestly, bro, my why is just fucking like really kicking ass at this and like being the best at it at the end of the day. And they're like, that's just not strong enough of a why. I'm like, well, I'm doing better than fucking all of you, so it must be strong.
Basically,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're like, they were really pushing like, bro, like, don't you want to retire your mom, retire your dad? I'm like, dude, honestly, like they're fucking good. I probably need to ask them for money at the end of the day. And like, even if they weren't, I don't know, just intrinsically, I know me winning is what causes that indirect retiring your parents and taking care of them financially and your siblings. Like me winning causes that. And that's my motivation at the end of the day is me winning. It's not me, you know, retiring my mom. I know I need to win in order to do everything else that all these other people have as goals, but I have to win. And you know, in VMA, it was like financial was obviously a part of it, but it wasn't, I was like, looking at the money and dying over. I was like, how can we build the best team? How can I find the best people? And like, sincerely, bro, everyone that I personally recruited was a fucking star. And to this day, I'm right about it because everyone I fucking recruited is a fucking star outside of VMA. You know,
beautiful.
Whatever they're doing in life, they're a fucking star. And I recognize that shit from the fucking beginning. And those only, bro, I could have sold 100 times more people in VMA than I did, honestly. But I fucking didn't. Yeah, I qualified people even in VMA, bro. I was like, this is my fucking team. He's going to be one of my leaders. If I'm going to build under him, he has to be like on this level.
That's amazing. I think we definitely did not do that. We tried. We were handing out drinks in high school. Like you come into the school and like you're getting in verb.
Don't get me wrong. My team did that. Yes. Yeah. And everyone has to make money. And that's how we made money. Yeah. But the people I personally recruited, like I did it with a lot of intention. Like I hunted these fuckers down. Bro, I fucking hunted Andrew into Vorm Media for like 6 years.
I know. Here we are.
You know what I mean? Dude, like recognizing talent and seeing a higher ceiling in people than they see in themselves, I think is a very slept on skill set from like a CEO perspective.
I agree. And the two people I know do it best, like personally, is you and Joel. Like what he was able to do with Atlas, completely automated it, removing himself from it. And that's, you know, the scaling the agency is one thing, but when you automate it where it's still making a shit ton of money without you in the picture, that's a whole nother beast. So I got to learn from, you know, how he did that and finding the right talent. I think it's the most important thing in the world, but it's also the hardest to keep because they know how talented they are. A lot of people want to start their own thing. You know, I just left Joel after 3 years of working together.
But you put in 3 years, bro.
For sure, which is different.
Like when people complain or want to leave after like 5 months, 6 months, even a year, I'm like, dude, like you haven't even like figured out your department or your role. Like you really haven't gotten to the point that you could be at. Like there's so much more room for growth. Yeah. Not only financially, but mentally too. Like, don't you want to challenge yourself to get to that point? Like, dude, that's a huge short, bro. If I just worked in a company like we had right now for 2 years before working here, everything we've built up to this point, we would have built in 3 months. Yeah. Like, I just would have known so much more. I went from lifetime just doing sales. I turned that club around with the sales that I did, but like just doing sales for the most part to like my parents' business to operating those. And then that gave me some sort of leg up on everyone and how they operate. But if I was in this space or any sort of similar space and actually got to see like all the pieces of it, I think it would have been a whole different show. And I think people don't really understand that. Like there's a huge gap between 1 year and 2 years and 2 years and 3 years. Like
ginormous. That
12-month gap is fucking insane. It's a multiple. You're not twice as good. You're like 30 times better the second year than you are the first. Like
for sure. And it went, and I felt it when they gave me the responsibility of finding and training a salesperson. I always tell someone, you can be good at doing something, but it's a whole other beast to train someone and they become good. And I saw that over and over again, you know, like all the agencies that replicated our demo and then hiring our own sales team and appointment setting team. And, you know, I was in charge of like really leading the way, especially during the downtimes because, you know, our ad accounts got shut down and we had to go full on organic. And I remember this was literally December last year. All three of our other sales guys combined to 12-8 coaching sales, which is crazy. And I sold 25 people. 90% of them came organically. And I remember the only thing different that I was doing, it's not like I was working more hours and putting time in the weekends. Yeah, I was already doing that. It was going out there and hunting my own food. Every job I went to, So if you're listening to this and you're part of Eddie's team or any other team, and you're in the digital marketing space or just remote work, the way I see it is if you become a contractor, you're 1099, you want to see yourself as you're white labeling the company you work for. So when I worked for Joel, I'm white labeling everything that he's created for me to level up my sales skills. And I didn't think about that at first. And then I realized, bro, once I close someone, I keep relationship and I want to make sure they're good, but I'm focused on the next salesperson, on the next sales pitch and on the next one and on the next one. And you have to, the hardest thing, this about sales is the restart. You can sell 3 people in a row. Man, you better be just as hungry for that 4th. And vice versa. You can go 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 0 for 3. You better have that same energy and intensity and care for the person you're about to talk to on the 4th. And I think that's the hardest part for salespeople is the consistency. Everybody can be good for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, hell, 1 year. Let's see what you do year 2 and then year 3. And
that's why I think I'm one of the best salespeople. It's constant. It never ends what I'm selling. And bro,
feel the same.
And I never fully understood that problem. Like at Lifetime, for example, we had like 7 salespeople. So I saw it, but like I just assumed they weren't as good. You know what I mean? And then now we've cycled through 4 salespeople, for example, in this business, and I've seen it happen to every one of them. Like highs and then like lows.
Yeah.
Like lows. I'm like, dude, you good? Yeah, I'm good, man. Like, I'm like, how? Like, what is going on? How do you completely lose? And I think
what do you think that is?
Like what you're saying, you're restarting.
Yep.
It's like here, for example, you are constantly making content. You're doing all these things, yes, but like at the middle of the month and at the end of the month, like no matter what the fuck happens at the end of the day in reality, like it's hitting your bank account. You know what I mean? The sales guy, if he actually does, if he calls all month and doesn't sell anything, he actually makes $0. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's the difference. It's like that constant pressure on yourself that you're putting because you have to eat.
Yeah.
Which actually hurts you more in reality. But like for me, dude, it was just like the job. Like I just saw the number we had to hit every month and I'm like, well, let's fucking start running from now. Day 1. You know what I mean? Whereas I think other people are like, oh, we have time, we got this, and then it kind of
got all month to hit my quota.
Dude, I'm like, bro, if we don't hit this shit by like the 15th, we're behind. Like,
literally,
I was stressing the fuck out all the time. I mean, I wasn't actually stressed, but I was just outputting. And every day, and don't get me wrong, like sometimes you hate pitches. You're like, fuck, I've done this 10 times today already. Like, yes, it drags you down, but like, if you want that sale, you have to bring the fucking A game at
every
10
time.
p.m., at 6 a.m., whenever the fuck that you're getting on that call, bro. And I truly believe that is like one of my biggest strengths is like put me in any sort of communication environment. If it's a fucking Google Meet call, a phone call, a Zoom call, an event that I'm going to, me speaking on stage, I don't care what it is. If it's a communication-based thing, I'm betting on myself every time because I'm fucking bringing the A game. I'm fucking dying on the inside. I'm bringing the fucking A game. And as soon as we're done, I'm closing my hotel room and throwing up. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm fucking bringing my A game. You know what I mean? I'm a brick wall on the outside and no one sees anything that's on the inside. And you have to operate like that in sales every single day. And
that's where most people, like you just said, you guys cycled through 4 and then the agency life cycled through like 8. Right. So I've seen this with
8
setters.
high paid ones.
Yeah.
Like your guys were making more than my guys were at the end of the day.
Definitely. And it's like you got to manage your emotions. And I'll answer your question, Andrew, because you said the restarting, I'll make it even more specific. I think that 90% of the time, the reason a salesperson goes through a drought, they're not selling, they're not consistent, it's a personal reason. Something is eating them up. It's mental. It's not that you're saying the same pitch over again. You are, the product hasn't changed. The service hasn't changed. Are there times where things are a little icky? Sure. But I think 90% of the time it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, family situation, someone's sick. It's like, sometimes it is a valid excuse, but I think you have to be mentally fucking strong.
But you can't let it phase you, bro.
At all.
Life is like that, bro. There's always problems, bro.
Always.
Fucking, bro, I'm not gonna get too into it, but like, bro, outside of business, right?
Yeah.
Outside of all the problems that happen at work and people, whatever it is, just life problems. It's like every month I have one fucking major one that I have to deal with that just fucking, I'm like, fuck me, I just finished the last one. You know what I mean? And fuck, now this shit's happening. I'm like, goddamn, everything's moving so fucking fast. Like, I just solved that huge problem. I'm good. Life's good. Boom, another one. You know what I mean? That's life, bro. And like,
all the time.
If that affects your performance, life will be shit forever because 100%. Your performance should be your way of being excellent outside of the problems that life keeps providing you.
You're an actor. I just see it as an acting. You have to become an amazing actor. And people think like, oh, that's fake. That's not. No, it's not fake. If something happened to me in a personal life and I have 7 sales calls, if I'm showing up to those sales calls, I'm not, hey, how are you doing? Yeah.
Even if I'm a waitress.
Literally.
You know, like if I'm a waiter, even at that level, like I know my tip depends on this. And it depends on the experience I'm giving this person. I'm fucking, dude, my mom's in the hospital. Like I'm sad, but when I'm talking to you at the table, I'm smiling. Here you go. Me being sat at the table does not provide me any sort of relief. It only provides me less money, a more pissed off person, and
correct.
It's just there is not a single positive thing to not bring in your A game at the end of the day.
To circle around this as well, this is exactly why I moved from Georgia to Colorado, because I knew my friends here, I love them to death. A lot of them are going to be super successful. Some of them are already successful, but I knew if I stuck around the same crowd while I'm trying to build this business, or trying to build their business in a sense, it's a complete distraction. I'm going to be distracted. I'm going to go out. I'm hanging around the wrong people. I literally moved to Colorado and I know 2 people. I now live and then moved to San Diego. I literally knew no one in San Diego. I actually isolated myself in San Diego for an entire year to help Joel like really scale Agency Lab. And now I live in Colombia. Like I'm around, I want to bring the right people into my life. And I think a lot of times people put themselves in shitty situations. They don't come from the best family. They don't have the most amazing supportive friends, but yet they're so comfortable and they stay in that situation over and over again. And then they blame the outside circumstances for their current situation. And that's where I think a lot of people need to like kind of put things together, if that makes sense.
No, I 100% agree. And it's also kind of like, I've heard like a quote that's like, discipline is doing the thing you said you were going to do long after the feeling you said it has passed, or something like that. Like basically like when you say you're going to do something, you're all hyped up to do it. And then later, when you're not really feeling like doing it, you know,
it's the gym.
It's very easy. It's totally the gym, dude.
It's literally the gym. I just started working out again consistently, and there's days where I'm like, fuck, I really don't want to work. I worked there yesterday.
And that's the days when you actually have to do it the most.
By far.
You not really even close.
Fuck me, every day is like that for me. Today I got up in Peloton for the first time in like 6 months. Dude, I got cardio on that I hate cardio so much. I'll work out, but like cardio,
it's the worst. It's the worst.
And I got on today, and I'm like, here we go. And dude, I've been getting billed every month for Peloton for like 6 months.
Damn.
I'm like, because I couldn't cancel it because if I did, I would never use it again. And so I was like, I have to keep paying this.
That's how people are with the gym too.
Exactly.
You know, even with like Lifetime, like it's kind of an expensive gym. I remember some people were saying like they keep their membership there because like it actually motivates them more to go. Because like if I don't go, if I just join like Crunch, it's like $20 a month. Like who cares?
Yeah.
I go like once and I get my money's worth. If I'm at Lifetime and I'm paying like $100 a month, I better be going.
At least.
Yeah, I better be going.
And you, at that point, you have to go. And that's why I feel like the gym, a lot of time, like, that really got me disciplined, in my opinion, because I was actually working out. I was in great shape. So, man, it's what easy to do is also easy not to do. It's not hard to go to the gym and put in a 30, 45-minute workout. But it's also easy to stay in your bed and chill and watch Netflix. Exactly. So, and it's funny because in Colombia, most beautiful place I've ever lived in, and not just because of the girls. It's like that's the bonus. I always tell people, but like the girls don't care if you're in shape. Like they like dad bods. They actually prefer. I showed them a picture of me right now, like a little chubby, and a picture of me ripped. They're like, yeah, the ripped guy's yike. So that's the most demoralizing.
Look, at a core level, like this may be fucked to think, but the dad bod, especially in those countries, provides a feeling of some sort of monetary security. Let's be real. Like, in reality, like
probably
like, oh, he can eat whatever he wants. Like he's got money to go out and eat and drink. And
for sure.
Whereas like the really ripped guy, especially in those countries, usually the really ripped guy doesn't have any money.
Yeah, he probably like hungry.
Apparently back in the day, you know, it was more attractive to be pale because you could afford to stay inside and like you weren't working in the field.
That's hilarious.
You know? Like literally now the luxury is we all work inside and we would love to have the luxury of sitting outside and tanning.
Yes.
So being tan is the more attractive thing.
Yeah.
But back in the day, like if you were a king, you're fucking sitting inside. It's hot outside. I'm not going in the fields. Fuck that shit.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, but that was the thing. If you were fat and pale, and so that was like a sign of wealthiness.
So Colombia, it's not about the bitches, but like it's a plus.
I always tell people there are bitches everywhere. You go to freaking Bangladesh, you go to, you know, China, you go to North Korea, there are bitches everywhere. That's a bonus. It's in Medellin, the reason I actually live there is because like on Saturday we're moving into like an actual compound, 10 bedrooms, movie theater on the lake. There's literally black swans, and for 5 people we're splitting it like $1,200-$1,300 each. which is insane.
That's
Something
sick.
like this here, it's like 40 to 50,000, like literally $30 to $40,000. In Miami, it's even more, right? So that's the biggest bonus. I also love the weather, and then it's not even the girls; it's the amount of females that are there that are all beautiful. It's actually overwhelming. I went with my friend to the mall. I like my neck was hurting. Like the next 3 days, the amount of neck workouts we were doing just walking around the mall. They also have the biggest malls in the world. It's like 6 stories, and it takes forever to watch. I'm not even joking. If I knew what I knew now, I would have never like lived in California. That was crazy. But in California, I was paying $2,500 for 1-bedroom apartment. And here I'm paying less to get way more. So yeah, it's.
What's the like green card situation, or what do you have to do?
Anytime you go there, you as an American citizen, you have 3 months to live there.
Yep.
As soon as you dip for 1 day, you come back 3 months. You can also pay for.
Oh, really? It
student visa.
restarts just as soon as you leave.
24 hours. You just need to be 24 hours out.
What?
What?
So
Dude, that's
visit your
wild.
parents?
In Europe,
Yeah.
it's like you basically have like a 180-day window, and you can only be there for 90 of the 180 days. So like, if you're there for 90 days, you got to leave for 90 days.
No, they
It's
love
like the
tourists.
opposite. Yeah,
That's
no,
the
it makes
difference,
sense.
and that's the difference. It's like they love tourists. In Europe, they're like, yeah, come visit, but get the out. Like we have.
Yeah,
our
they're
own
like,
thing,
we
you know?
tax our people like a
Correct.
bajillion dollars a year. So
Yeah.
you're just taking advantage of the fact that we have really nice public shit.
What's funny is I wanted to go to Europe way before I went to Colombia. So how Colombia happened is this was right before
I kind of
the
want to
pandemic.
visit Colombia now. Not for the bitches at all, because I already
Dude,
heard that
you
funny.
would-
But like living in this compound for like 5 days with the boys and
No,
like
that sounds sick.
grinding out some cool shit and content.
Yeah,
So
we're doing content literally every day. We're making like a whole content house and stuff.
you
I
better
feel
have
like
a fucking podcast.
I'm about to
studio.
like TikTok it up, but
Yo, dead ass. You better have a podcast studio in this 10-bedroom house.
100%. All that's coming. Like the hardest part for us now is to move all the equipment because we're shipping it from Florida. I don't know if you know Iconic Becker. Shout out to Icon, but he's the one. Him and one of his team members, Dale's coming to live with us, and they're bringing.
Oh,
the
Icon's
content.
living with you?
Me, Icon, Temple, Daniel, and Dale. So it's 5 of us.
I talk to Icon pretty often.
I love
That's
Icon,
sick.
one of my homies. So we're all living together. He's like basically the Andrew of the house,
Yeah,
like
that's
the head
dope.
of head,
Makes
head of the
sense, makes
content.
sense, yeah.
So how did Colombia happen? You guys are probably like, how did he end up? He went to Colorado, California, and then Colombia. That's so random. So last March, 2020, Atlas Digital, the agency I was working for at the time, hit like a record. We were consistently hitting 200 to 250K a month. We hit, I think, our highest was like 280. Team was on fire. Everything was working great. You know, the COVID started, spreading, but we didn't not think it was a big news, anything serious. So Marcos and Joel like booked a small mansion. I think it was like 8 bedrooms for the team. So 20 people were supposed to stay in that house. There was multiple beds per room. And as we got closer, this was like March 10th, news started to spread. And out of the 20 people, half of the people canceled, 10 people. So then 10 actually came through. And out of the 10, we literally got to enjoy one weekend. And as soon as that weekend happened, they said, yo, this is like March, 15th, whatever. They're like, yo, if you guys don't get out of Colombia now, like you're going to be stuck here. So 5 people like immediately booked their flights and flew. And then 5 of us stayed back. And I was like, I'll stay. I mean, I think it's only going to be a week. It's not serious. COVID's not serious. Oh, come on, guys. It's like people are wearing masks. Like we're good. So we ended up going from March 15th.
So this mansion was in Colombia.
This was in Colombia.
Okay.
So this was in Colombia. 5 of us ended up staying there until May. So I ended up a week trip turned into 6 weeks. But then I realized, first off, it is so cheap to live there. The food is delicious. Everything gets handed to you. Like you can literally eat meals for $4 to $6. If you spend $10 on a meal, you're like overly do it. Our maid was $15 for the week, which is insane. She cooks, cleans, and does our laundry.
Wow.
Yeah, insane. And then I just was like, why am I in California? And then I'm coming back to California, literally a communist state at this point. You know what I mean?
$15 a week, bro. $15 a week?
That's
Yeah.
gnarly.
Sure.
$15.
Wow.
It's wild. Yeah, I pay
a week or a day?
No. Like we pay her 50,000.
Even a day is
No, a
worth
day,
it.
that's what I'm saying. It's a
50,000
It's a day in
pesos.
Lebanon. It's $15 a day in Lebanon is like the price for like a full-time maid.
Wow.
So the $15 was like between like a couple people, so it's probably a little bit more. And it's also like for a huge house. Now the maid that we have for like a 2-bedroom,
15 a person,
it's like
you're saying?
yeah, it's like 15 for like a few people. But it was a big house.
Daily salary or weekly
Got it.
salary.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
My bad. So
But still.
this maid that we have now, she's like $20 a week. I pay her no more. It's actually less. It's 50,000 Colombian pesos, which
and
is
it's
like
you and 4 guys.
4 guys. Yeah,
So $100 a week.
yeah,
Makes sense.
yeah.
When does she
$10
just
that makes it,
she
yeah.
just comes in the morning and leaves at night or what?
Twice a week, cooks, cleans, does her laundry.
Oh, okay.
I
cool.
literally want to do none of that. Like I hate cooking. I hate touching my laundry.
So when she cooks, is she like prepping meals and then you can
meal
eat
preps.
them? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
sick.
every
Okay.
day.
So
Yeah,
she
yeah.
doesn't come every day.
No,
That's still sick though.
We don't really need it. As long as I have meals, I'm good. Like I don't need a chef yet, like every single day. But what made me
Yet.
keyword. But what I love the most about a man is like the ability to live somewhere else and make American dollars. Because you don't really value dollar when you live in Georgia, Alfred. Like you guys are in an expensive spot. When you go to Medellin, Colombia, and you see like a dollar goes so much further, just $1, it's like, whoa, I can do exactly what I'm doing, but just wait for less. So,
Exactly.
I loved living in San Diego. You go to San Diego, visit.
Like you have a cheat code.
Yeah, I love San Diego. Everything is beautiful. It's an amazing state. It's an amazing city, but. Dude, it's the most overpriced, overrated state in my opinion ever.
Yeah,
like,
because everyone wants to be there.
For sure, as a state, it's not even close.
Not even close. Like
the first
top
day
to bottom.
I went to LA, I was like, "This is overrated," and you're
Immediately
all paying way too much money for decent weather.
And then 13%.
Like they're paying money for weather at the end of the day.
100%.
And I think at some level you're paying for the type of people that are there. And I think at one point it really was like a very, like I think about New York City. No, dude, I thought about this so much this weekend because there was like a bunch of logistical issues at this music festival that I was at with like shuttles and stuff. I was like, how sick will it be when like someone like Elon Musk throws something like this and all the shuttles are like automated and things like that? Like that will just be so sick. But anyways, we were staying like 40 minutes from the venue. So we were like driving back to Columbus. When I got back to Columbus, I'm like, how wild is it that like the shuttle should be the best option, but like calling an Uber was probably going to be a better option, but it was just like more expensive and we couldn't get an Uber out to this like rural area at like 3 a.m. So we're like, it's so annoying that the shuttle, which is like an inefficient and kind of like shitty thing, was our only best option of like transportation. And then I was thinking about like how revolutionary subways and things like that. Like think about like back in the day in New York City, like the Wall Street guy and the homeless guy were riding the subway together because it was actually the best, most efficient way, even for the Wall Street guy to travel across the city, even though it was, you know, cheap and things like that. So like public transportation. So then it's like you're thinking about, you know, just how inefficient like certain things are. And then you're like, you know, why am I even here? And I think like, for example, I think New York City at that time, so many people were like attracted to that area because like, holy shit, they're doing something like amazing. They're democratizing this and they're doing this. And I think like California at some level, like with Hollywood and all this stuff, is like all the creatives and like all these people that were like doing the cutting edge shit were like going there.
And it's the closest thing to Asia. You gotta
basically.
Yep. And like you got Silicon Valley that's like, I mean, if you even live in Silicon Valley, there's like the fucking little Amazon robots delivering you stuff and there's like automated pizza delivery cars and stuff like
everything.
You feel like you're living like a few years in the future than like everyone else.
And remember this, and over time you'll be like, damn, he's right. The highest jumps in real estate in the U.S. and Canada, like the biggest. I'm not talking like Austin, Texas increased like 25% year over year. I'm talking like, holy fuck, we 200%ed in like the last 12 months.
Yeah.
All happened because Chinese people moved here with money. In every city you can think of, think of it on a deeper level, look into it. Toronto quadrupled the prices of their homes in 2.5 years because Chinese people came with money. They even outlawed Chinese people from bringing in more than like X amount of money so that they would avoid inflating real estate. China, Los Angeles, it's the same exact thing.
Look at Johns Creek.
Look at Johns Creek.
You know,
wow, like what a microscopic level we're talking. You know,
like super microscopic, but that's like so true.
Yeah, just money from Eastern Asia coming over here, just balling out because it goes far.
It's so funny you're mentioning like the future and like LA and New York, and then you go to Colombia and 99% of cars are still manual. Like it's and they're the best phone.
You take your driver's license test manual.
Literally, and
you have to, right?
Everything.
Oh, it was toxic.
Yeah. You have your license there too?
In Lebanon, yeah, but it was like, dude, it was like a 1960 car that I had to drive. And
they make you drive one of their cars?
Bro, do you want to know what kind of stick I'm talking about? The stick, it was a Jeep. It was like a 2-door Jeep. It's the kind of sticks.
It's like 3 on the tree or whatever.
It's as long as
my
this.
God.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like
the throw is like literally your entire arm. You're like,
oh my
first gear,
guys.
Second gear's behind you. Third gear.
I got there an hour before they opened just so my friend could like teach me to use this fucking car. You know what I mean? He's like, all right, try parallel parking this thing, bro. Like, and I'm not like a huge stick driver either. So it's not like I'm like, oh, I drive stick. This is just a weird stick. It's like, it's stick and it's fucking weird as shit and it's 1960s.
And like their clutch,
and it's
like
Lebanon. Like it's like I'm assuming they drive like Israel and it's like crazy. There's not too many rules. And then Colombia,
you want to hear Lebanon's driving test, bro? You'll fucking die.
It's just be safe.
It's a fenced in area. There's 3 cars. It's 3 people take a test at a time. I swear to God, it's the funniest shit ever. 3 people take a test at a time, and it's just like 3 different like line draw. Like it's like 3 different courses or puzzles, I guess, that you do. So one, for example, is you reverse. It's like 15 yards. It's like an L. So you start and you just curve, and that's it. Okay, good job. You know how to reverse. Now go forward. Okay, got it. Now back up parallel into this spot. Okay, got it. Can you reverse? Got it. Thank you so much. Go inside and get your license. That's the fucking test.
Wow.
And it's 3 cars at a time, just offset by like 6 yards. So you start behind each other and you end behind each other. Like,
Wow.
And it's so funny. Guys, I did it and I was like, are we going to go on the road? Like,
That's it.
he's like, oh, you're good. I was like, so forward, backward, park.
I don't need to learn how to change lanes properly.
That is explaining
Wow.
so much to me. If you
Wow.
drive in Lebanon, guys, fucking I love it personally because it's like
Free.
chaos.
You're
it's
free.
pure freedom.
Yeah,
like,
I love that.
I'm fucking ruthless on the driving road, but it's because you have to be. If you try to drive like a simp,
You're gonna die.
you have no chance.
No chance,
Bro, I'm passing semi trucks, I swear to God, with my tire an inch over the cliff. Like just to put it in
Basically.
perspective in a lot of
Basically.
situations. And I'm folding my mirror and we're grazing mirrors. Like that's how close we both are
Yep.
to dying.
Yep.
Holy shit.
And guys, when you get good at it, like when you get confident on certain roads, you pass
My
at
mom
like
would
you pass
shit.
at like 60 when you should be passing at like 5. Like you'll pass, you and
Yep.
the semi, you're like, we're clear. And you'll both pass and like almost graze your mirrors and like almost both die at the same time, but like no one flinches.
You know,
You're like, I know this, bro. I swear to God, bro, Terry, when she first drove with me, she would like, this is the window. I'd be so fucking close to like the wall or a car that she'd like jump like
Oh
this
my God.
away from the window.
Consistently.
Closed.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm like, she's like, babe, you're too close. I'm like, it's that or we die. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, this is-
Jeez.
I have this epiphany that I think the drivers in like those type of countries, could be Lebanon, Israel, Colombia, Thailand, have an insane level of awareness. Like,
Yeah, oh,
like,
100%.
Like your level, I feel like Americans compare like our awareness driving here compared to Thai people, Colombians, like it's not even
it's just
close.
automatic intuition, bro. It's like never stopping.
Insane.
You move. You just move.
And let's get this clear, Andrew. This is not just cars. This is motorcycles. Like people literally
yeah.
drive this. Motorcycles are in between cars. Like I'm like, whoa, they are inches away
With like
from death
3
every
kids
day.
on their back seat.
Literally,
Like,
and in
they're
one in the
crazy.
front. I literally saw this one person with holding a kid in the front, one in the back. I'm like, dude, this is but this is normal. Like I'm the crazy one,
Yep.
you know. And it's
I was in Cabo San Lucas like a few months ago, and we saw a lady on the back of a moped with a fucking baby in all the traffic, and we were just like,
Not
what?
holding on, like barely, like,
Like
Yeah.
she was
Like it's
like
nothing.
holding it with one arm and holding on one arm with the dude.
Dude, I've seen people with
Insane.
like 2
Insane,
babies
insane.
on the back and like 2 babies on the front, like one standing, one in his lap, like 4 kids on a fucking moped.
Literally.
Like insane.
you get
shit.
used to it at that point,
Yeah.
you know. I don't know. That's crazy though. That's that part of me really likes the fact that it's old school.
Are you guys warm, by the way?
I'm super warm, but I can.
Yeah, AJ, can you just make sure the AC is on? I think we might have maybe someone turned it off. I thought I turned it on pretty cold before, but anyways. Hey,
Was that what he was getting up?
Yeah, that's what I was asking him about. Because I was like,
what's
it's
AJ
pretty
checking?
warm in here. We good?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, okay,
It's
perfect.
It's coming.
Sick. Yeah, sometimes it makes a little feedback in the mic, but I think
Who
it's
gives
we
a
need to be comfortable in
It's
here.
that
Huh?
I'm sweating into the microphone.
I'm
yeah.
literally smelling my
I
sweat.
don't know how he's surviving. I was
I
thinking.
know.
about
I was
that.
thinking it too. I'm like, I'm in a t-shirt and you're wearing the jacket.
long sleeve
I
under
know.
the jacket.
And a long sleeve under the jacket. Jeez.
Yeah.
But you're like from Colombia now, so you're like, I'm used to the warm
Yeah, I'm saying
temps.
it's just
I'm not
okay.
used to AC.
What is an
America.
AC? Yeah, like we have like
I don't condition my air. I
Yeah.
only shampoo my hair.
literally.
So dumb.
So when you were scaling the businesses after the agency, you got into
Yeah.
coaching with Joel.
Yeah.
What was like some pretty cool like difficulties and challenges that you guys had to kind of figure out as a sales team? Because you're very like ad dependent, right? As a
We
whole?
were. Yeah, I mean,
Like-
definitely.
Like cool fact, we have ran 5 days total of advertising this entire year.
That's
for our own company.
Wild.
I don't think anyone in here like really understands how wild that is like in this business. I'm
like when we turn on ads, we're like, we got to turn them off again.
yeah, I'm like, guys, do you understand like if you just actually let me loose and let me run ads and let me just close people, like we would double our business every month. Like
Easily.
We haven't even ran. You do get my point?
No, 100%. We were definitely dependent, but the biggest reason is because that's what we did with the agency. So
yeah, but that's also kind of what that space is too.
I mean, you're running ads for a client. So when you don't run ads, I always tell people like, wait, you don't run ads? Like, no, everything's organic, but you run ads for your clients. Isn't that like, it's like the most hypocritical industry by far. And it's so funny. I always call people out on that. But when I first made the transition last July, I knew, because of the mindset I had, that I have to figure out how to prospect from Joel's profile, from what he's built as a brand, because at any point, paid ads can just turn off. At any point, the ad cost is too low, appointments are not coming in, meetings are, being scattered. The one thing that I hated is not being able to control my calendar. I think too many people get booked appointments and they don't do nothing. They just sit there and they wait for the call. I hate that. I want to build a relationship with you before the call. I want to add you on Facebook. I want you to follow each other on Instagram, get to know each other. Because first off, I know for sure you're not going to miss my call. And if you are, you're going to give me a heads up. And second off, we already built a trust. You're following me. You see my brand. You see what I'm about. Where most salespeople, they just, I have a call tomorrow at 3 p.m. I'm not going to do anything with that person. That was the biggest difference for me compared to like other salespeople. Is I just wanted to be control of my calendar. I don't think, and Eddie, I'm sure you can agree with this, the salespeople you've had, they're not in control. When you're not in control and you get handed off leads and appointments and essentially sales, you don't level up as a salesperson. You don't level up as a business owner. You don't level up as an entrepreneur. You're being fed, and that's eventually going to run out, because as companies grow, they need people to grow with them. You cannot be steady and then the company's growing. You have to grow with a company. You have to become better. So I knew that. I told Sergio from day one, I'm like, dude, this is like last July, I'm going to lead the sales team. I'm going to lead the sales team. I'm going to be the sales manager, blah, blah, blah. 6 months later, boom, became a sales manager. It wasn't because I was not even, not only because I was a top closer, but it's because the way I led myself and because what I've built. I've literally built systems back to back in both the agency and the coaching program. So when a salesperson can come in, they know what they need to do and they know what needs to be done. And now, I was telling you, one of the cool things is that the best salespeople in our industry, the coaching industry specifically, are people that actually went through your program. Like if you got someone that went from zero to 20,000 a month, those are the best salespeople. So finding people from all these recruiters, myself, that know nothing about you and you have to sell them on you, it's like, those are the people that I see cycling through the most, because they have to be bought into what you do. And until you close someone that goes through the program, gets results, you don't really know that this is real. So that's one of the things I realized. And it's funny because like I love the industry I'm in, but I hate like I don't know how to say this, but I hate the there's like a stain to it, because it feels so fake to me. It feels like everybody's trying to portray themselves as something that they're not. You always have, it's like a big contest. It's like everybody's trying to $1 million a month, and then $700,000 a month, and then
we are a 9-figure agency. It's like, what does that even like mean? 9 figures is what all your clients are making, or you've all together in your existence made 9 figures, or does it take 9-figure clients for you? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's very weird when people say stuff like that.
Very, very weird, and it's very common. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's very, very common.
And the worst part is that most these coaches, right, they take advantage of people that don't know anything about anything, and you hope and pray things work out. And again, going to my point earlier, you're hoping and praying that these people that work at McDonald's, that come from a family that doesn't know anything about business, just follow your system and become successful business owners. I just hate that. I'm like, yo, why don't you get a job instead of McDonald's or Kroger, go work for an agency and build a skill set. Learning under Eddie, like I'm sure what you've learned over the last, I don't know how long, and Julian and everybody else, almost a year, that's way more valuable than just getting paid for, starting your own thing and just hoping and praying things work out. And I think same thing with you, Eddie, like what you learn in lifetime, becoming the top salesperson, you knew that, man, if I can just sell something for myself, not only can I charge more, but I'm going to be able to scale an entire business.
Not only that, I also left Lifetime and worked for my family's business for 18 months and actually scaled another company and actually learned what to not do and what to do. And then decided, let me do my own thing where I have full control of the decision making instead of, having to talk to investors or my father or managers, whatever the case.
You knew it was coming. So I think a lot of these people, man, if it's like all these young people and they listen to all these influencers and people with blue checks and like, go start your own thing, go bet on yourself, go. It's like, dude, bet on yourself, but bet on yourself with the right people. You got to surround yourself with the right people. You guys are the only agency, one of the only agencies I know that put everybody together. Freaking genius. It's probably hard because there are talented videographers and salespeople outside, but you're putting everybody together in the same room, same energy. You guys see each other every day. You force each other to level up. I freaking love it. But at the same time, you know, I do think you're able to build a business completely remote, and it's difficult. I haven't this months that I didn't see Joel, like 2, 3, 4 months, and then you're hoping praying that things are working out, and then the only way you see that things are working out is the results. Like where were you at last month? Where are you at now?
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking about this like a ton recently about like where things are headed, just like in general.
You've been thinking a ton recently. You're like,
Yeah.
I got out of a music festival, and then I thought to myself, how could we make every shuttle electric with Elon Musk's technology?
Well,
I smell a drug test coming up. Lots of thinking.
We're connecting too many dots here.
Yeah.
But like I was just frustrated with like inefficiencies at certain things, and I was like thinking about just like at what level, you know, even like we were talking about VAs earlier and things like that. At what level does a human, where do humans still play a role, and where do they fall away? And like, you know, even when you're thinking about, you know, where this is all headed as far as working, right? You know, like, especially with the pandemic, a lot of people have realized like, wow, I can do like mainly a lot of my job remote. And then there's some jobs that you can't do remote. And it'll be interesting to really like see kind of how it all plays out. I think obviously the trend is going to be a lot more things going remote, but I also think like there will be, I think like the better thing would be almost like small local teams that are being a part of like one larger thing. So maybe these few people together are working physically together, but they don't necessarily need to be physically with everybody else in their company. And we see that evidenced with, you know,
like satellite offices.
Yeah, satellite offices and things like that. Like if we had like a LA office of For Media where we're making content there, and we have a Charlotte office and this office, like, you know, obviously it's great to have like one area where everyone can come together. And I mean, obviously being in person is the best way for a lot of different things. But
I mean,
it is interesting to see kind of where things are going and what really
work
matters.
from home is definitely an important part. Like, I think it should be done in moderation. Like, I've even been like brainstorming different ways we could do it in our business, which we're probably rolling out one on Monday that we're going to announce, of like a certain work from home policy, right? That's optional for people to take, essentially, not on a daily basis, because I think that actually is less productive. But I think on like a weekly basis, you know, having a day where you can work from home, where you're not all interacting and you can focus more on task work. I see a lot of friends that work from home, and I don't give a fuck what anyone tries to convince me. If you work from home 5 days a week, you are less productive than working in an office 5 days a week. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care if we sit down for hours and you fucking read the stats or some sort of data to me. I don't care. I've seen it, and every single time it's the same case. If you work from home every day, like if you work from home 1 day a week or 2 days a week, you could be more productive.
Because you're catching up on all the things that the office doesn't allow you to do when you're completely zoned in.
Exactly, right? Exactly. But if you do it 5 days a week, it becomes a disconnect. You didn't see Joel for 3 months?
So I
started, just for example's sake here.
It would be like 2 to 3 months. But for me, like I built an office in my house, and this is my personal experience. Here's how I see it. Like I did try going to WeWork, and I just feel
But that's the thing. You went to WeWork and shit, but there wasn't any other people working with you there.
No, nobody.
That's the difference here.
Yeah.
That's a very big difference. You know what I mean? Like back to Andrew's satellite offices thing. Yes, like we have remote people, bro. And here's the thing. A lot of our remote people are like, damn, I actually want to like move to Atlanta. Like I've never thought about it, but like I'm getting on these calls and I'm like, dude, we had someone who just joined us and they were like, I've been working for like 3 other digital marketing agents before this. And like, just from like the first week of working here, like I was going to move to Austin, but like I'm now considering visiting Atlanta and seeing what it's like where you guys live, because I'd love to be in the office. Like that's what it
amazing.
creates.
That's
and
cool.
so like my dream's always been, I always say this out loud, is like in a couple years, like I want to fucking buy a fucking warehouse for 4Media that's like fucking decked out, like fucking insane workspace, like some Google type shit, but like on another level and like the way we want it to from the start.
I love
where
it.
we can do whatever the fuck we want in this place. And like, how could you convince me that working from home is going to be sicker than working at this place? Like you need home as a break.
I agree.
1 day a week,
I
2
agree.
days a week. But you working from home, I think it's better to scale a team as a business owner, right?
Sure.
You have less cost.
All that stuff.
It's all a lot easier to do. But as a company culture and like I want to go work for that company, I think having a sick office actually plays in your favor. And like remote is an advantage to some people, but it's also a disadvantage to people.
I agree. And this brings me to my shirt. Have you guys seen American Playboy? It's my all-time favorite docuseries, whatever you can call it. It's 10 episodes, and it really follows like Hugh Hefner from the beginning. Like I knew nothing about Hugh Hefner. I knew literally nothing. I thought, oh, he has a lot of sex and he's Playboy. But I did not realize, first off, Playboy is an actual newspaper. Yeah, the difference is it's a magazine, it's a newspaper, right? Magazine, whatever. All the difference is they have a naked girl in the front to get attention from us so we can pick it up and read the news. That's literally I didn't realize that at first. But what he built in the 60s and 70s, he's literally, same vision, built a whole Playboy building, started opening up Playboy clubs, exactly what you're talking about. I love that. You would love that because that's literally what you're trying to build. Because he was one of the, I don't want to say the first person to do it, but he really thought, how can I bring everybody together, scale in that one building, but eventually have people like Andrew and team members go out and build their own thing in New York and build their own thing in California, right? And I think that I actually really love that. But what you just said is a good point. When I went to see Joel, and it would be like once every like couple months, right? 2-3 months, whatever. I'd love that. But a lot of times he would work at WeWork or he would work from home. We never had that one place to go work together. So I felt, why don't I just build an office? And I was most productive there. And I did feel like I was super productive versus going to a WeWork by myself. Or in Colombia, there's a co-working space that's / a hostel called Selena's, which is pretty public in South America. And I would go there 3-4 times a week actually too. And I actually genuinely like working there. So I think I do agree with you. I think if you can bring everybody together, man, you guys scaled so much faster than if every team member here was by themselves from home. But
from a content standpoint, it's very hard to build a remote team.
It's almost impossible. I think it's
almost
impossible. Yeah. There's no way.
The only way you could really do it is if you had a whole bunch of like Daniel Schiffer type people that like can be shipped a product and make like something from scratch, like in their own
Still,
home.
it's not the same vibe.
It's not the same thing at all.
Dude, and for reference, when we got this office, we visited another agency. We paid them. We saw their office, and we're like, the only way we're going to be able to make content is by having an actual fucking location.
Yep.
And it was a 3.5 hour drive back, and on the drive, we booked the appointments to come see the place. It was the same day we saw this place, and then
game over.
After we negotiated for a few weeks and looked at other locations, we picked this one. But like, that was the decision. It was like, look, can we make content remote? No. Done deal. We're getting an office. Like that they didn't take much more thinking.
Yeah. Because before that, it was a remote. You were running the business out of your basement.
Yep.
And even then, I had moved already into my new apartment. It was COVID. Like Terry and I were working from like our guest room and our living room.
Yeah.
Every single person in the company was like 65% was already local, but they were just all working from their homes. And so like moving everything into an office like brought a reason for us to all come in and like I said, dude, and I've told Andrew this in the beginning, if we can always cover the bills, we make content. Like priority one,
game over.
Pay the bills. I'm not saying let's be fucking ridiculously profitable. Like step one, don't lose money. Step two, make as much content as possible. And I will fucking spend anything.
It's actually kind of absurd how much content we make. Not even just for our clients, like for ourselves.
Dude, you guys have the show. Your Instagram is popping. You're on our podcast.
Literally
podcast. You guys are moving the needle so far, and I actually wanted to like ask Eddie because
ask him.
Ask Eddie. When you went to when you pitched Joel's group, with the e-com agency, I think everybody like saw the vision, but I don't think they realize what it really takes that you have this. Like, I don't think a lot of people, I don't know if you mentioned this. I remember seeing the pitch once. I literally watched the entire thing. And I remember the amount of people.
How did I do on that pitch? Go on.
Incredible. I'm not going to lie. I had to watch it twice. Not to boost your ego, but it was really, really fucking good.
Dude, I never practiced or anything. It was just
I was like, where do I pay? Like, I don't even know.
Joel even called me next day. He's like, holy fuck, how did you do that? I don't understand how we did that.
And we talked about it. There could have been even more of what could have been done.
100%.
Yeah. So like, people don't realize they're like, because the pitch was move to an e-com agency, that it's more profitable, it's all this stuff, but they don't realize what it takes. And I actually want you to cover this because all these people are like, they scale to 10, 20, 30K a month in real estate and chiropractic and dental, but then they're moving into e-com, and you guys have a studio, you're recording every single day and you posting content. What do you advise to an e-com agency? Like how can they replicate something like this?
Okay, it's cool that you say that because I'm coaching a lot of these people, right?
Yes.
And here's what I tell them. I tell them this every day, and it's so funny. They always come to these calls. They're like, I'm teaching them how to structure the company, how to like hire. I literally am sharing them our hiring applications, our processes of how we hire, how we manage our Monday boards, and efficiently try to run the entire company through a computer. And like I'm teaching them all this shit, and they're always asking me the same shit. Eddie, well, like, how do we like go get more clients for e-com? And I'm like, first of all, like you're in Joel's program. Like that is the purpose of the program.
Number one, yeah.
Like I was like, if you want me to teach you anything, I'm just gonna fucking go look at his program and tell you what he taught you. Like this isn't why
lead
we're on
generation.
We're not on this call. We're not in this
we're telling you how
program
to do.
to figure out how to get clients. You guys have already paid for a program to do that, and it's the best out there. Like I'm not gonna teach you anything that he's not gonna teach you at the end of the day. He's gonna do it better than I can. I'll teach you how to lower your churn and keep growing. I was like, at the end of the day, there's one thing, and it's funny, I'm doing a presentation Friday. You're going to, right?
Yes.
Miami?
Yes, sir.
I'm presenting, right? I'm
Let's
one of
go.
2 people presenting, I think, besides like Joel.
Yeah.
And I'm, or at least like the headline speakers were
Sure,
one
sure,
of 2.
sure.
And my whole presentation is based on this, and it's the fact that you need to start doing things that are permanent, not temporary in your business, and that is the game changer. For example, running an ad is temporary. When the budget ends or when you turn it off, it is done. There's no one's sharing this ad after that. No one's ever seeing this ad again. No one's snooping on you and going and finding the ad that you ran 3 months ago. It's over. But what they are doing is going to your Instagram. They are looking at your reviews on Google. They are looking at the team that you post online. They are looking at the stuff that is permanent.
How many views are your YouTube videos getting? How much engagement are you actually getting?
What kind of content are you putting out?
That's how we can afford to not run ads.
Dude, we get on and by the way, we've always afforded not to run ads, right? We always built.
Sure.
It started with Eddie's brand, and then it turned into the 4Media brand, and now we're pushing everything there, right?
And I guess
Smart.
afford isn't really the right word, but in monetary terms, it's more we can afford it because we're getting clients by word of mouth and by the stuff that we're producing, not because of ads.
Dude, we get on calls. You can ask Andrew. We'll get on onboarding calls with people, and we'll be like, we'll start talking to them, and we'll find out they've watched our episodes of the show. They've listened to 3 episodes of the podcast already. Yeah, my favorite episode was this. I love when you guys said this. I'm like, Dan, that was a 3-hour episode. Yeah, I watched that one. It was like I split it into 2 listens, but like I heard the whole thing. Like, bro, how can anyone else in the agency space who's not doing that compete with me because they ran an ad? I own this person's time. Like they are giving us tens of hours of their time in consuming our content before they even make a purchase. And here's the crazy part is your ads will only benefit you when people fill out a form that are your qualified buyer, and everyone who's not will not participate. My organic content, our organic content, I'm just saying mine for the sake, everyone, because you hear it and you're not my person that I'm trying to sell, but now you're like, dude, I love these guys. And when you find someone that is the person that I'm trying to sell, you know where to send them. Do you get what I'm saying?
Powerful.
And so I'm not, don't take it in the wrong way. I'm saying I'm just
No, it's ours. Like, I understand.
So, like our views, our 1,000 views on a YouTube video that was, 2 hours long or even 15 minutes long eats your fucking ad for lunch every single day. You know what I mean? Like that is 1,000 people. Even if you have 100,000 ad views, my 1,000 views on YouTube will beat you because these people have consumed all my content and now
they've spent time with us, literally.
They're an apostle of our brand at this point. You know what I mean? We get more, dude. We get so many people just filling out applications on our website to work with us, to be a part of the team, or even just people connecting over some sort of social media with us or me personally because of our organic content and what we put out and who we are as people, more than most agencies get from running ads at the end of the day.
So for those new agencies, you would tell them focus on your personal brand, focus on getting followed. What
do
would
the
that be?
permanent things. Anything that's
even building an email list is permanent.
Exactly.
Like those types of things. Like,
and for example, even that I said, listen, at the beginning of my agency days, I used to just fucking get contacts, referral here, talk to this guy, cold call this guy, whatever, didn't close, move on, whatever. I was like, dude, now we manage everything through HubSpot. Everyone is tagged exactly the way they are, where they came from, what they came here for, what we've talked to them about. I was like, that's permanent. I can do this for another 3 years. We can make $0 more than we make right now. And in 3 years, I have 4 times the permanent assets that all of you else do. 4 times the content on social media on YouTube, 4 times the content on Instagram, 4 times the email list, 4 times the phone list, 4 times the data. I can push out an email blast because I did the permanent things. I can push out an email blast and kick all your asses because I decided that I wanted to run a promo, and I can get 50 people begging us at the door to work with us.
And that's the beauty of YouTube. That's the beauty of an email list, because when you build a subscriber base of not only people that like have signed up but are like actually interested in like what you're
we put out
sending
good
out.
shit, you know. We're not like just throwing shit to like throw shit. But some of our shit goes through like weeks of revisions. Like I don't think people really understand.
No, it's top notch quality. Like I've
Like,
watched
for
the
an
episodes.
agency,
I'm watching the episodes. I'm like, this is really good. Like some people don't put that much thought and effort into it. This is exactly why I love what Icon's doing. If you if you are part of his events, it's like takes months and months to prepare. I remember when we didn't get like our content from Mexico when we threw one of the biggest events I've been a part of with Joel. We threw it in Cancun, in Puerto Aventura. We didn't get our content from Icon for another month and a half, 2 months. And at first I was like, what the but he had so many photos and so many videos, and then they put a documentary together. And I'm like, dude, content is everything, like literally everything. And, speaking of that, like I built my whole business off of word of mouth. I've not ran a single ad. All the 30K a month was boop, 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 boop. It's so powerful. And in my head, I'm like, dude, what happens as soon as I already know how to sell. As soon as you turn on ads, it's literally scary.
But also, ads might not be what your business actually needs to scale. Or maybe it's not even like, maybe social media ads or Google ads is not actually what will scale your business. Like that's the dude, there's been businesses even in the e-com space we've gone on and we've talked to and we've worked with, and we revert back to a mailer because their demographic's so fucking old, they have trouble checking out, and it's actually way more ROI positive to send them a piece of mail to their house to call a number to buy instead of going to the website. Just an example.
Yeah.
And so like at a really core level, I think people need to start understanding like running ads will not save a bad business or a bad offer or a bad product. Like at the end of the day, it will only accelerate the termination of it.
And like, especially with paid ads, like everyone kind of just thinks of like Facebook and Google as kind of like the main things to run ads on. But like there's so many other like levers you can pull too. Like podcast ads are like a huge thing. Like I've bought stuff based on podcast ads. Like, maybe your business is not doing well D2C, but if you went to Amazon, you'd fucking kill it. Like who knows, there's so many, hey, whoa.
Like look who's calling me. Like that's a flex.
That is a flex. That's a flex.
That's a flex, homie.
Should we say it? That's a flex.
No need to say it out loud.
No need to say it.
It's a flex.
That's a flex.
That's a big flex. Like, the call that you just got.
Just come out,
it's like, yo.
That's what permanent content does.
Literally. Yeah. It's speaking of the devil, like it couldn't have happened any perfect. So
because marketing at the end of the day is you're peddling attention. Literally.
That's it. Attention.
And right now, that's what my whole fucking presentation about. I'll spoil it for you. Is attention right now is more valuable than the US dollar. And I'll fucking show you on paper. I'll fucking do it all day long. But right now, your money is going down in value and your attention is actually going up in value because it is becoming more scarce.
And we print money every day. It's inflation.
Exactly.
So
whereas attention is actually becoming more scarce. Everyone has the same amount of time every day to watch and give attention to something, but there is more things every day being made. So technically, supply is going up, demand is staying the same exact thing. So the value of your supply that actually captures the demand is way more valuable every single day. And that's why you need to do the permanent things, because those are the only things that can ever be circled back to by any of the attention that you garner.
And the thing is attention as well is like the amount of energy you're spending on something over time. Because that's why we call it an attention span. It's a measure of time, actually. Like it's like the amount of attention, because you can only give so much attention as a human. You can only give so much attention to someone, right? Like if I'm staring directly into your eyes, I'm giving you like the most attention that I can fucking give you.
Literally.
Like you look at my calendar, you look at my calendar today, I can afford 0 minutes of attention not given to something that's already on my calendar today. 0, like literally 0. Nothing, not even my wife. I got mad at her today for even bringing a little emotion up. I was like, babe, I can't do this today. Like, not now. Like, we'll do it like later. You know my schedule right now. I can't do that. So let alone even giving my attention to listening to a 10-minute video of someone else or an hour-long podcast or a 2-hour-long video. Like, that is so valuable. And I think people really undermine it because we just throw our attention around at things like Netflix and things like that. But like, how valuable is that series really of influence on you when you've spent 8 hours in the last 4 days paying attention to something.
And
like that's so valuable.
And with podcasts, actually, it's interesting because they've actually found that when you're listening to something while you're also doing something else, it actually cements the ideas like deeper in your brain. Like if you're watching TV, you're sitting on the couch, you're kind of sedentary. Your mind might be slightly like wandering, but if you're like going on a walk and listening to a podcast, you're like associating the things that you're seeing around you and the things that you're doing with the things that are actually happening in the podcast. I can think of like, I've taken walks in my neighborhood, and I can like think about like when I walk past that tree, I like think about the thing that I was thinking about when I walked past that tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting with podcasts.
Your active brain is like on. It's like turned on, and now you're active and you're listening to a podcast that is talking about active things. Like Joe Rogan always talks about hunting and going to the gym, and it's like, whoa, this is registering a lot more, which is I actually love listening to podcasts while I'm at the gym a lot of times, like doing cardio and like learning and moving around. But no, it's really interesting. I like the permanent things. I'm going to go over that with my team tomorrow because I feel like we are doing a lot of permanent things, but there's also a lot of like things that should be more permanent.
Let me put it in perspective. Where can I find you right now?
Instagram, Facebook.
Not you, your company.
Online on my website, usefava.com.
That's it. Where else?
My Facebook.
Not really.
Yeah, I mean, it's on there, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now think about how much more valuable referrals become when they can point them anywhere and they'll find you. Yeah, bro, check them out on social media. Go on Instagram. Oh, damn, look at all these like people they've hooked up, or look at all these things that they're posting. Oh, wow, let me go on Instagram. Oh, cool, let me find him here. Oh, he's a YouTube channel. He's showing how to onboard people who are remote workers and like certain things that you should do to bring them on better, to make them a better fit for your company so that they stay longer. Holy fuck, this guy definitely knows a lot more about these people than I do. I'm in. Bro, most people come to us like on a silver platter. That's the reality. Like we can run ads and we can try harder to sell people, which we're definitely going to be doing, like especially in the next few months. But like there's been no need as we build the foundation because of this permanent stuff. People literally come and like I said, dude, we just lost a sales guy yesterday, but our sales will go up this month because like all the sales that he did close were on the silver platter is the reality. They'll come to me, they'll literally say, I want to spend money with you guys. And I say, go talk to this person, because my time and them also as part of the company, I want them to benefit. I want them to eat.
Yeah.
Even if sometimes it's going to be really easy in the layup and sometimes it's going to be hard. You got to fight for it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so, and that helps. The permanent stuff helps, bro. Bro, I remember when we first started, we would collect video reviews of everyone, testimonials, and people would still be like, yeah, well, can I talk to like people that you work with just to like get an idea? And like now I'm like, no, but you can read one of our 100 5-star Google reviews, or like watch anything on our YouTube channel, or like see any of our employees on our website, and like you can do the research yourself without having to talk to anyone to figure out if it's a decision or not. Like there's no reason if you say no, then you haven't done your research enough at the end of the day. And like, I've never had anyone ever ask for a video review and I've given it to them, ever asked for talking to a client and I've let them do that. It's just like, there's no point, bro. There's so much stuff that's permanent online that people put that they didn't go and delete, that they didn't put a bad review on, that they took the effort to go put in their review and testimonial, whatever it is, permanently online. I can't fake that shit. It's a Google review. Like, yes, I can ask people to do it, but like when you see it spread out over years, and they're all consistently saying the same stuff and the same good things, like that's a trend.
And
like,
even for different services too, like I've even seen like on our Google reviews, like people that are just personal consulting clients of yours or things like that. And it's like, okay, like cool. They're not just like really good at content, but they actually suck at like these other things or whatever. Like they're actually well-rounded and things. I think that also helps, because then people get their wheels turning. Even if they come to us for one service, then they're like, why don't we just do everything with this company? Like, it's kind of silly for us not to.
Yeah, especially after they work with us. Like, you just onboarded someone for content, and like 2 days later, they're like, can you guys run my ads too? Like, you guys clearly got your shit together.
So website, Instagram, what else is permanent? Like at the level, the 30, 40, 50K?
I think the thing about the website, because I personally love a good website, but I guess you got to like have some sort of thing to get people there. I think Instagram is probably the biggest way that people click the link in bio and go to your website. That's personally where I end up seeing like a lot of websites. So I feel like Instagram is probably
I don't disagree, huge. But like also I think YouTube's
pretty massive.
Will be like one of the strongest.
I think it is the strongest.
Bro, I think you put out content around onboarding VAs, having a remote team, how to operate them better. My own team would consume that, and like we already work with you, let alone people who like don't work with you. Think about what a funnel that is to them organically, bro. And at the end of the day, how many people do you have to, if I told you right now, like make 2 YouTube videos a week, that's it. Just film 2. You don't need a high production. You don't need all this shit. You're just putting out straight value of like VA tips and like things like that. Like in a year from now on something you spent like 2 hours a week of your time doing, let's say, like what's a reasonable ROI? Like 10 clients a month organically, like 10 VAs signed. If you got 10 organically VAs every single month,
100% worth it.
Totally worth it, right?
Not even close.
You're probably going to get like 5 or 10x that.
Because also
I'm already getting that. So
exactly.
It's like,
so when you start thinking like that, you're like,
yeah,
I'll fucking put in a year of work. It's just not going to happen overnight. But like the organic adds up, bro. And then when you get those people that like watch everything that you put out,
oh, those are the best customers.
you have your own sales team that's remote.
And the other thing is like, I think Instagram has become the digital portfolio, like the digital resume almost. Like the first thing I'm doing probably is searching, if a person that I meet, the first like thing that I'm doing is going to Instagram. And I don't necessarily even care if they're having like cool, like really cool photos. I want to see like, you know, do they actually have friends and stuff like that? You know what I mean? Like, oh, is this like a cool guy, a normal guy, whatever. Like that's kind of like the pre-vet. And then also, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. I mean, Google owns YouTube. Google's the first, YouTube is the second. People go to YouTube to learn. So if you're putting out educational content, that's going to be evergreen forever. And especially
and it's searchable.
when exactly one topic, one video, that's like a huge thing. It's like people are literally searching how to hire a good VA. If you can rank for stuff like that, that's insane.
Why the fuck would I ever go to another website and go through hundreds of applications if Omer already knows how to do it?
And he's an expert.
He taught me something already.
Exactly.
Like, I'm fucking clicking.
And I see that stuff a lot. Like there's actually this one channel. They only have like 2 videos. It's literally called like How to Tie a Tie. The video has like hundreds of millions of views because literally
we've all watched
it. Because it's literally people are searching in YouTube how to tie a tie. It's the very first one. It has the most views. You watch it. He explains it very briefly, very quickly, very efficiently, and you've tied your tie. You know,
and
so
imagine
like,
at the end he had a call to action of that shit.
Right?
Holy
right,
shit.
if you owned a tie company or whatever.
Yeah. Like this
shit.
is like the easiest tie to tie. Like $10 buy it now. Like
And-
holy fuck.
And even
product,
even the call to action at the end of the day doesn't matter because if his video is monetized, he's making money off every view.
Fair enough.
Wild, right? And that's the ultimate like rabbit hole of like crypto and stuff. It's like once we have like microtransactions where for every second of a video I'm watching, I'm directly paying you. Like I'm paying you a fraction of a penny or whatever. Like that type of stuff blows my mind too. Cause then you're not only trying to use YouTube to like get leads to like something else. You're literally just being compensated for like the attention that people are giving you. Literally attention, you know?
Yeah. I think
wild.
you guys are like, I came here, I was like, I need to pick Eddie's brain a little bit. I didn't think it was going to be on the podcast. That's what's funny. Cause now I'm like all these things are running. I'm like, damn, we're doing so many things right. But there's also many things that we can improve on, like a YouTube channel. I have my own Instagram that I get a lot of traffic from, but then I need a company Instagram. I remember like a year ago, Eddie, when we first talked for media, like I don't even know if you guys had an Instagram for the company or maybe like a year and a half ago. And now it's like more popping than you. And actually another question for you is, what do you feel like about the whole, like taking your personal branding to the level where it's like you're verified, you're paying Forbes and you know, those people that do the personal branding.
I think it's good.
Do you think the blue check is like have myself and
Definitely.
Joel? Yeah. No
The blue
doubt,
check is only amazing too because of the people you can DM. You can DM other people with a blue check, and when you go into the request area and there's other blue checks in there, you're like way more curious. You know,
I saw this thing with T-Pain. He didn't know that was a thing, so he literally missed.
I saw that.
Hundreds of like DMs from all these like people that want to partner up and use him from branding. And he's
Yo,
just like,
it's Justin Bieber, like shit like that, like wild shit. The people that he was literally ghosting for years, and he had no idea that there was a requests area.
Insane.
Literally, but because you don't know, like that's the thing.
They make it pretty hard to find, to be fair.
They do kind of.
Yeah, but like, yeah,
and also
I
you
think
see
blue
that
check is good. I think gives you value, and like most importantly, and I always say that I think like Instagram stories are like one of the best ways to organically reach people because like you made a mistake today. You were in our office and you didn't tag Form Media and you didn't tag Eddie Malouf. Because then both of those accounts would have reposted your shit. I'm serious. I'm not. It's not like an ego thing. I'm like, oh, he didn't tag us. I'm just like, from a networking opportunity thing, dude. When I go everywhere, if I'm at a conference with someone big, I'm posting them because they're posting me back on their story to show that someone else posted them. Yeah. And just like that, I get people. And so like when you have a blue check and you're playing that game properly, that's a different beast. Someone's reposting you. You also have a blue check. They have a blue check. big flex. People clicking on your profile, they're like, might follow this guy.
And
You know
even
what I'm
just like
Little
commenting
things.
on stuff with the blue check, like people are like just curious. They're like, who's this guy? I
Yeah.
want to check.
And this is coming from the guy who hasn't paid for a blue check.
That's what I was actually going to go to, because you have the capabilities of doing this. And you're not the only one. It's like there's like a group of people that I feel like, why the fuck you guys not have a blue check? Why am I thinking of a blue check? Am I thinking too small? And you guys are, or is it like you don't think you want one? It's the expense. Like what?
Every interaction I've given a sales guy or an owner to get me a blue check has always ended with like some sort of like uncertainty.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
100%. It's like you PayPal'd me the money, but I cannot guarantee anything.
Yeah, and it's not even that. It's like, oh yeah, and it just got harder than it used to be. Like there's all these key phrases that they use, and I'm like, listen, homie, if I'm gonna fork out fucking 12 G's for you to give me a fucking blue check and write articles, like, you better fucking give me a guarantee on that, and like maybe like we put our money, even if it's fucking, it's not about like, yes, it is about the 12K, but it's also about like getting the thing that I want done. You know what I mean? That's why it's worth 12K to me, for example. So like if I put my money in like an escrow account, and they're like, hey, here's in an escrow account, and we'll either take it if we do this in the next, 6 months, or if we don't, then you get the money back. Sign me up, bro. Charge me for the articles. I always tell them, like, 3K is actual cost of articles, 3K guaranteed I lose it. Okay, 9K blue check. Like, tell me I'm getting it, and I'm not gonna pay it to you. We'll put it somewhere where you can have it, even if it's in a fucking crypto contract where guaranteed it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Put it somewhere there, and don't, like, every time they're confident, and then I get to the sale and I ask these questions with my money in hand, and it just uncertainty. It's just like gray everywhere. Everywhere.
That's
Every
why
answer is
yeah.
gray. And so I'm like, why the fuck would I do this?
You just need to find the right one. I feel like there's someone out there.
Bro, I get referred to so many from people with blue checks.
That's what I'm saying, though.
And then I get to the end, and I'm like, okay, dude, I can show you.
Because the other thing is you can buy accounts with blue checks. But as we know from Arab's episode, you can't buy Instagram accounts. Do you remember that?
Can you really not?
No, it's against their terms of service. So we were joking about like
what
as we
happens?
all know, you're not allowed. So they
Wink.
gave me this account
Wink.
for free.
Yeah.
No, but
Let me show you. You're gonna be like, oh, okay, Eddie's like pretty serious about this.
yeah.
Look at
There's
this. Look at this. Look at this guy. I'm not interested in taking your money. I just want to make sure you're good. All these things. Like we went,
Yeah.
dude. Look how long we talked.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I'm in. By the way, look.
Yeah.
Look what he charged me. 13 grand.
Yep,
I'm like,
yep,
hey
yep.
man, can you send the agreement to this address, to this email address?
Yep.
We don't do agreements or contracts. I'm like, bro, I'm fucking.
we only work based gentlemanly agreement, trust and word of mouth.
Pink and promise.
This is a referral from very trusted sources.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
referred
yeah.
me to this guy.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah.
do you get what I'm saying?
100%.
I see the referral
how am
guy.
I gonna
He's a
send?
trusted source.
How am I gonna send 13K to this guy with no agreement, no nothing?
Pinky
Go
promise.
fuck yourself, pinky promise.
Yeah.
You could change your username tomorrow, and all of a sudden I can never talk to you again. Great. How does payments work? Here are the terms. Blah blah. I was like, thanks. There's no way to
Doctor.
guarantee.
He calls himself a doctor too.
I was
That's
like, I'm
funny.
doing this, just making sure everything is clear before I send the money with no agreement. I don't do that. Anyways, it ends. I go, just tell me where to send the $5,500 deposit. No response. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
That's wild.
you
dude.
get what I'm
That's
saying?
wild.
And it's
That's
not
wild.
one, bro. I can fucking pull up 20
I
conversations.
can't imagine how many times you get hit up by people that you
I
actually
never
trust.
respond to any of them. I only hit up referrals. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? People I
Yeah.
know. And like, it's still the same shit every time. We get to the end, it's just like,
I
listen, we can't really tell you anything. Nothing's guaranteed, and we're not going to put it in writing. You know what I mean? I'm like,
It's the
okay,
sketchiest
go fuck
business.
yourself.
It is the sketchiest business, but all the other thing to it is they are publicizing people that should not be on Forbes. Fox
dude,
News.
100%. Because who the
sure.
fuck cares
But, like,
about
we know-
Forbes,
but we know-
dude?
we
Who
know who
actually
they
gives a fuck about Forbes?
We know
at
who
the end
they
of
are.
the day?
We know who they are. You can
Yeah.
look at someone and be like,
Dude, dude, have you guys ever seen that company? I forget what it's called, but they oh yeah, there's one. It's called like Voyage, and they'll be like Voyage ATL, Voyage LA, Voyage this,
Yeah,
Voyage
yeah,
that. Bro, like all these people all the time are like, I got featured in Voyage ATL, bro. I got featured in Voyage ATL. They send you a form that's how did you do this? How did you accomplish this?
Yep.
Where did you go? Blah blah
Yep,
blah.
yep.
You write your own article,
Basically.
and then they publish it verbatim. Not joking. They publish it
all of them.
verbatim.
Even
So-
Forbes, bro. You write your own description.
All of them.
Yes, 100%. But for those, they don't pay you. They're just making money off the ads and stuff on their own website. So like you're not paying to be on their
But
website.
we got featured on an actual publication one time. Like,
Yeah.
Without being paid.
That's
It was pretty cool. It
Is
was
it the
like-
one with the other agencies?
Yeah,
that were
yeah,
there?
like, I don't
I remember
know.
that. There's
That
like
was
10
sick.
of them. I'm like, oh, Brett, no, this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like top 5 agencies to look out for in
Yes.
2021. It was like
Yes.
VaynerMedia, 4Media.
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
whoa.
That's cool.
Yeah, but like
It's
we
fucking
genuinely
cool.
didn't pay for it.
You
So
no, no.
You know what's really
Why
funny
would we pay
about,
for that?
about the blue check? So one of my buddies just got signed by the Seahawks for preseason. He got signed for 1 week. He's a beast, been playing football, and I hope he gets
What
re-signed.
position?
Defensive end, Alex Changam, shout out to you. As soon as he signed, like literally, blue check the next day. And he doesn't play right now. He's, I think he's trying out for teams. Whether he plays again or not, he is blue check forever.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think Instagram will probably matter less in like 10 years though. So it's like,
Still, it's a long
Still
time.
sick.
That's
Still
your
sick.
prime.
That's
like
a
25 to
long
35.
time.
That's
No.
like your literally your prime.
yeah,
in a sense, right?
for sure. No, but all sports teams, like they have a connection because like people faking you, like once you're like a real celebrity or whatever you
Yeah,
want to say, like
yeah.
like journalists also. If you're a journalist for a pretty big publication, blue check mark on Twitter immediately.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
like people impersonating journalists is like dangerous, or like people
get that.
impersonating, these famous athletes is like dangerous to them, or like they could be impersonating and asking for money or whatever. So like I get why, but it is very frustrating when it's like actually the blue check mark should be like on dating apps, they make you like do a few things like verify, take this picture of yourself, take a picture of your driver's license or whatever. Like that should be the actual process of getting verified. Anyone who's a real person should have the ability to get verified.
I should have no problem being verified.
No, of course not. You have
Like-
65K. Like, come on. Like,
Not even that, bro. Just like scroll through the content on all platforms. Like,
literally.
Literally. Go on Google. There's an office.
Same
No,
with Joel.
and
Dude,
people
the
are
process to
imitating
get
you.
Joel verified was
Dude,
like
people are imitating you all the
That's only
time.
on Facebook. He's not
only
verified on Instagram.
only took literally.
And Facebook doesn't count to me. It's like
No,
Facebook
who
blue
cares?
check is like
It's
It's silly.
yeah.
honestly.
You don't even
right?
notice it. Honestly, I didn't even notice it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Instagram blue check to me is one, then Twitter blue check is number 2. Like
Yeah,
that's
and
like,
and the other thing is the amount of impersonators that are always making fake accounts of Joel and
Yep,
Eddie. Like,
yep,
come on.
yep.
Like, it's literally, that was the purpose of the verified account thing, is like, I'm constantly getting people imitating me, literally. And like, why should I not be able to prove that I'm the real Eddie Malouf? Like, what the heck? Like, they
On every
actually
platform.
abuse that piece of blue check mark because they put it as a badge of honor, as these are the people that we approve of on our platform. These are the ideal people. These are the people that we like endorse. The blue check mark should have never been a symbol of that, but it became that.
And you know what's funny is that they protect your speech on Instagram and Twitter, but then they don't protect your privacy. Like you as a person, like you can literally get 1,000 Andrews, 1,000 Eddies, 1,000 Omirs, but then you say you're a piece of shit and you get banned.
Yeah.
It's like this is
Twitter's
what
a
you
little
guys-
more lenient, but yeah, you can get banned for freaking like misgendering someone on Twitter and stuff like that.
Yeah, which
Yikes.
is
On accident. Literally on
Really?
accident.
huh?
On accident. If I call you by the wrong pronouns on Twitter, they
Stop,
can.
stop.
No,
No.
literally.
No, it's bad.
I'm dead
it's
ass.
bad.
That's
they
on-
were.
Twitter is very, very liberal. And
How
I mean,
did Trump
dude,
last so long on there?
I know, right? And
Bring
that's
Chung
the
back to
thing.
Twitter,
That's the
bro.
thing. Is like,
Best
you know,
entertainment.
they'll say it's like hate speech or whatever, and it's. I mean, if someone tells me to call them something, sure, I'll call you that. But if I'm accidentally calling you the wrong thing and you like ban me for life, like, come on,
Yeah, 100%.
it's messed up.
Well,
But anyways.
let me ask you this, Omer.
Yeah.
It's funny that you started the podcast with this because it's how you're going to end it. We ask everyone at the end of our episode, if you were to give your 22-year-old self, aka anyone else, one piece of advice, what would it be? And we literally ask this on every podcast. It's funny that you have a whole 150 note Uber pad on it.
Literally.
So pull one out of the hat and let's see what you got. You got one sentence. Think about it. What kind of advice would you give someone who's 22, kind of trying to figure out life over the next 8 to 10 years, you know?
At 22, that's the age.
Yeah,
Ish,
like
sure.
graduated college and got a year
Yeah.
under your belt kind of thing.
Get
Or even in
around.
college.
Very simple. Get around the right people, fast, move faster, and think bigger.
I love it.
So good people, move fast, and
Think bigger.
I love that.
Think like Eddie Malouf. It should just be think Eddie, like think bigger.
Relax, dude. You
The-
guys,
WWE.
you guys in your circle just hype me up with
You know what-
WWED.
you
What would
guys-
Eddie do?
The reason we do is because it's not just us. It's because you're so different than everybody else that we've been around that it's like, hey, is that like, I remember as soon as Joel, I like vividly remember this a month ago when Joel came back after visiting your office, Guys, we're getting an office immediately. I went to Eddie's. He made the whole team sign a contract that if by the end of the year he doesn't sign a lease, he owes the team like $10,000 each.
That's fucking
Wow.
great.
Like some crazy shit. I don't know if it was 10,000, but
It's like almost
shit.
October. Has he been looking?
I'm on my own now, so
I'll
see him in 2 days and we can ask him in person.
Nice.
So
That's funny though. But yeah, that's the influence. You know, that's not me though. That's the influence of like seeing
Seeing the power of it.
But then you actually took advantage of it. Like you actually did it. It's one thing to talk about it and it's one thing to talk about it. It's a whole other thing to be about it.
We haven't even done anything yet. That's the part. Like,
I know.
It's pretty wild. Like we actually broke ground on this place like a year ago, less than a year ago.
Like broke ground as in like started construction. Not
Right? Like
moved
literally.
in.
Like they tore this ass up. Literally.
We moved in like 4 weeks from now.
Julian's been here for less than a year. That's how I know it's
Yeah.
like nothing.
Yeah.
Julian's been here for 9 months, bro.
9 months.
Yeah. I started November 2nd last year. It's
Yep.
like almost October.
Nothing. Like he's just now like really grasping what's going on and it's like leveling up. And 9 months we just talked about it. 9 months is nothing.
You know, which I wanted to point out, and we won't go too much longer because we technically ended it.
We gotta go.
But what you said earlier, you're like, and in 6 months, I became the sales manager. This is after you were already working somewhere for like a year, 2 years with them. Then you were like, I'm going to put the goal that I'm going to be a sales manager. And then another 6 months, and you were ecstatic because you felt like that was a short period of time, which is true. Sadly, most people don't think that, and they think, damn, it took me 6 months to get a raise. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like,
that's nothing.
Like, that's nothing, bro.
That work 40 years.
At that pace, in 3 years, you're getting 6 big raises. Like, that adds up. You're telling me in 3 years, 6 more raises of the raise that you just got isn't a huge deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People just aren't willing to wait that long is the sad part, especially around our age. And that's why, you know, especially from a leadership level here, I feel like the leadership here gets that. Like, obviously, you know, there's so many pieces of this business. I can't speak for everyone's behalf, but like from a leadership standpoint, like people like Julian, you know what I mean? Like everyone gets that and we're all on the same page. Like we're building something. This isn't like, hey, I'm trying to get a quick cash grab at a job. It's like, you know, we can actually be like the sickest at something. And if we all combine collectively together, we're not going to find talent and hard work like this outside of these walls. It's going to be very hard. But if we can collectively like channel that together, dude, like we can kind of do anything. We can beat everyone else that's doing whatever they're doing. I mean, obviously we're not talking like Elon Musk level, right? Like we're talking like, you know, marketing. Let's call it marketing, right?
Yeah.
Like we're talking like getting to like Gary V marketing VaynerMedia status. Super fucking doable. That's my opinion. And like, I genuinely feel like a big group of people that work here, I'm not going to say everyone, but like a big group of people that work here understand that like if we actually give this like 5 to 10 years and like rocked and rolled and everyone got the piece that they deserved from this whole thing, you know what I mean? Like they got whatever it is, whether it's like a higher salary, a percent of an exit, like whatever that comes down to when the time comes, if everyone gets their piece and we knock this out for 5 to 10 years, like most of the people that work here will still be like 35, 32, 33, 34. 10 years. I'm not talking 5. I think 5 is like everyone will look back and be like, holy fuck, what did we just do? Like, let's say 10. Like being 35 and being like fucking good financially for the rest of your life from the job that you worked the last 10 years is actually an insane blessing that no one gets. And even like having your own business after 10 years, I see it all the time because I talk to business owners that have had shit for 10, 20 years and they are nowhere in life that you would think someone would be in 10 years. Everyone thinks like automatically start your own business. 10 years from now, you'll be killing it. Like that's really not the reality of the situation, but like get around a team, like you said, the right people for 5 to 10 years that actually have the same vision and are all driving to the same spot. And you're being recognized along the way, maybe not short term as quickly as you think, but as long as the recognition is building up and it's there and you're given the opportunities, bro, there is so much you can accomplish in 5 to 10 years. It's retarded. I just think most people don't even make it past like 9 months, dude. That's pretty sad.
No more words from me. That's
Beast.
I can't outdo that.
And we're done.
We are done.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, everyone.
Where can people find you?
Yes. Now that we know we can't find you anywhere, where can we find you?
My first and last name, so Omer Bloch, Omer Bloch, the only one. I actually just bought OmerBloch.com, which I'm pretty excited about.
Nice.
So
I just bought HNRBlock.com. I'm just kidding.
not spelled the same, so good luck.
I just bought Express.com. I don't know what it was. Random.
OmerBloch.com, Facebook, Instagram, and eventually Twitter. I need to make more permanent things, so here we are.
Twitter is actually where your audience is, bro. way more than you think.
I've been like thinking I need to tweet more a lot because like I have a lot of ideas that need to be disseminated, you know, that are not just video.
And in
not
our
just
space,
Instagram.
everyone's on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
It's true.
And YouTube.
Yes.
YouTubers are all on Twitter, just for reference. Like that's how full circle it comes back to Twitter.
I love
like
it.
no matter how you run, the fuckers are still that. You're like, where can I find you? Check out my Twitter.
I love it.
You know,
I
for sure.
love it.
Thank you, Omer. Thanks for
Thank
visiting.
you guys. Thank you guys. A pleasure.
Appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the 4Media Uncut podcast. If you want to work with us, learn with us, or even join the team and be a part of what we're doing at 4Media Marketing, just go to our website. It's 4media.marketing. No .com, no .net, .marketing, because that's all we do around here. And most importantly, share this with a friend wherever you're listening to or watching this on. Please hit that share button, send it over to a friend, someone else that you think will get value out of this. It would mean the world to us.
And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like this video and comment down below any suggestions for future guests. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, please rate this 5 stars and leave us a review there. That helps us tremendously in the algorithm world. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the next episode of 4Media Uncut Podcast.